we actually go into the show.
Let me know when you actually start the streaming.
I started the stream now, but it's only this show and
It's the music too,
this
right?
and the music, yeah. So I'm going to OBS,
but not us.
to restream. So now we're streaming good on that. So as soon as I switch over, I'm just gonna double check the tube.
You gotta count it down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
Gotta be recorded before you press
Come on. All right, so we're live right there.
All right. Well, don't worry about that. We can always pull it up on our phone to see like what. Is that what you're doing? Just showing.
Yeah, that's it.
Let's just look on our phone then. Go back to the.
It's not streaming yet, right?
No, it's streaming.
It's streaming, but it's.
But you keep the music up where it's at. It's only showing the.
Like that's.
Turn your mics off.
No, it's not catching our mics. The only thing that's showing on that is. No, watch.
Oh my God.
All right, everybody, welcome to Loudest in the Room, the newest podcast to hit your computer screens. My name is Dre Big Chief Hall, and once again, I am joined by Mr. DJ Lex to my left, and I got my man Jake. We're not gonna call him
Baby Jesus.
Stachnitch.
Sweet baby Jesus.
Oh man, welcome back to the show, man. Last week we had some. I'm not gonna say some technical difficulties. We had a lot of technical difficulties, so we couldn't come to you live.
We're learning.
Yeah, we're learning. And speaking of learning, I just want to give it up to those guys that actually do this as a profession, because there is a lot that goes into this. I thought, man, come up with a concept, jump in front of a camera, and boom, that's it. That's all we had to do. But man, over the last 2 weeks, I've realized that there is a lot of work that goes into doing a podcast, a live stream, whatever you want to do, whether it be games or, something like the format that we're doing now. These guys put in a lot of work. So for anybody that thinks that, God, they're just some Joe Schmoes that want to jump on the camera, for the most part, man, they're putting in a lot of work to get this done for them. So, I give it up to them. Man, so there's a lot that's been happening over the last week. A lot of stuff is going on, like whether it be from the football to politics to just entertainment in general. There's a lot that's been happening. There's new evidence in the Ahmaud Mayberry case. Ahmaud Arbery case. You have in sports, you have Blake Snell, which we'll get into when Jake takes over the mic. But there's so much going on, and we want to know how you guys feel about these situations once we start getting into these topics, because some of it is some pretty crazy stuff. And last week, we were a little bit loose with the tongue, so forgive us for that. We were still learning. Frustrations were building.
The alcohol.
It was a lot of the alcohol. But
that's why I'm drinking coffee today.
But we're trying to make this show viewable to all audiences, because there's going to be stuff on this show that you want your kids to watch, because it's going to be pertinent to how they grow up and how they go about their daily lives, because there's a lot of stuff that they need to know. Before, back in when we were growing up, it wasn't so much dangers out in the world. We didn't really have the dangers of the internet. The biggest danger in the internet that we had was probably jumping in the AOL chat room, So now they have so much more to deal with. So we want to be able to address situations like that. So we want it to be viewable for kids. So we're going to taper back. And I'm the main, culprit for this, the language I use. And I apologize for that if it offended anybody before, but I just want you guys to know that we're going to work better to make sure the show can be viewable by all audiences. We want to put out something that you guys are proud to see and be like, hey, man, I know that guy from, at the bar, or I know this guy from Publix or whatever. So that's what our main focus is.
In other ways, we're trying not to be so ratchet, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, basically, I was trying to be more, PC about it, but, he basically brought it to the forefront. We're not going to be ratchet anymore. Well, try not to. There'll be times that we slip. So, forgive us in advance. Oh, man. So, like I said, man, a lot going on, man. You know what, Jake? There's a lot going on in sports, and I know there's a lot of stuff that's weighing on you that you just got to get out there. And a lot of people might want to hear what you got to say, because you are our resident sports guru. So let's hear about that, all right? Because it's a lot. Okay. There's a lot.
Yeah. Well, first off, I'm not a sports guru. I follow football mainly, and then everything else is just like I catch whatever. Blake Snell is a member of the Tampa Bay Rays, and his name's been all over ESPN because of what he said about he doesn't want to do half a season. Because of the coronavirus, we don't know if there's going to be a football season or the college football and college sports in general in the fall. It's possible that there may not be a season. But as far as baseball, and whenever that starts, they're thinking July 4th. He doesn't, and they're compensating the players for only half the season. He is mad about that. He wants his money. He wants a full season's pay, or he's not playing at all. How greedy and ugly do you have to be to say something like that? I have no sympathy for the guy. And I hope other baseball players are not thinking the same thing. Millionaires.
Remember what I said last week?
Yeah, I remember you saying that it's a bunch of millionaires playing ball. Well, I could understand his thinking. Before you guys jump the gun and try to jump down my throat about what I say. I understand, he knows his worth. He knows his value as a player. But on the other side, my man, you got to have some humility and be humble about your circumstances, because I know a lot of baseball players that have a lot of talent that maybe weren't picked up by the right scout or just didn't get the look that they needed to be at that next level. And you got that opportunity. So at the end of the day, you need to be humble about it. There was a way for you to say, listen, I feel like I'm deserved all my money because of what I've done and what I've will possibly be able to do for you, but for you to come out and say it the way you did, it just makes you seem like,
Okay.
you don't care about the actual fans or the game. You're in it for the money.
Where do you draw the line?
What do you-
Because the reality is, where do you draw your line? The line from it being a game, that's what motivated him at first. I'm pretty sure to get in. And once you get a taste of the money, where do you draw that line that it becomes a game and you trying to excel at the game, or you trying to watch out for your bottom end, your pocket? Because at the end of the day, once you have so many millions of dollars in the bank, it's like, yes, I'm hitting the baseball field because I need to stack up a little bit more money, not because I want to necessarily hit more home runs or, you know what I'm saying?
Well,
So,
yeah. go on.
that line, where do you draw that line? And he showed face right there
Yeah.
by saying
Yep.
that.
He did, and not even getting into that, it's right now, like, why there's only going to be half a season. The coronavirus. There are people that still cannot work, and they're still
you
trying.
worried about stacking up more money.
Yeah, and they're waiting for the unemployment checks to come in. They have not come in. People are still waiting for that stimulus check to come in. And you
right.
have a personal friend of mine and my fiance, especially, one of her best friends is a nurse in Montana who went to New York to work. And just every single day, like hours and hours and hours of just seeing people die in hospitals, hundreds of people dying.
Yeah.
And this
And
jerk
the sad reality
is
of
gonna
it
say
is
all that.
there's going to be way more people dying. Because obviously,
yeah.
if you want to control, to be able to control something like this, you have to have knowledge of how many people have this, And if you're not testing, it's like you're trying to just sweep it under the rug. No, we don't need to test. We don't need to find out in reality how many people are positive.
You're right. Before we even jump into that, because I do want to jump into that, I want to go back to the whole Blake Snell thing and where you said, where do we draw the line?
Yeah.
So,
I wanna go back there,
and
too.
I want to just reference, and by all means, I am not a fan of this person at all. And this person is a prime example when he shows that he's more about the game than about his paycheck. You got to think about, and it pains me to say this, you got to think about Tom Brady's. How many seasons did he take pay cuts to stack his team?
Oh, did he? I don't even.
Oh,
know
yeah,
that.
he did, yeah.
That's
He
positive.
took, he took pay cuts
Wow.
to be able to recruit the people that he wanted, that felt like was going to be an asset to him, so he could achieve that. So, in my mind, that screams a guy that's he's all in for the
See,
game.
I'm
he
his fan now.
appreciates.
See, I don't even know about sports, but you know what? That's a positive thing.
And
It
so,
is.
so
that's
he appreciates.
that's what a person in his position should do.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So he
Yeah.
appreciates, the money that he's gotten, but at the end of the day, he's like, man, I want to win games. I want to win championships. That's why the guy has, a fistful of gold
At the
and
end of the day,
diamonds,
that's how
so
it
he
should be.
had, and that's how it
You've
should
already
be.
made way more money than you should be making.
Yeah.
Might as well, go for the win. Like get a paycheck, cut or whatever, and go for the win.
And not only that, his wife Giselle is probably making more money than him anyway, so it
see?
doesn't even matter.
So yeah, you know what?
He can afford to take a pay cut.
So now that you say that, maybe that came into factor when he was taking these pay cuts, because he was in that relationship that his other half could balance out what he wasn't getting. Right?
I think he
So,
would have done it anyways.
I think he would have done it anyways too, but I feel
I
like
knew there was a reason why he came to play for the Bucks. Or I don't know
Yeah.
if it was his choice, but
It was his
it was-
choice.
so see, he's probably saying, you know what, I'm gonna show these people that it's not about the Patriots or whatever. I could go to Tampa and turn that team out and make them,
Without the coach, without the head coach, Bill Belichick, and there's that whole thing where who's better? Is it Bill Belichick's coaching versus Tom Brady's
He's
playing?
probably
And
trying to
he's gonna
prove something, right?
He has everything to prove right now.
And this is the
That's
right
why.
team because, as I
It
said
is.
last week, I'm not going to repeat it, but Tampa is
Yeah.
Tampa, and they need help, So
He's the man to do it.
maybe
but,
this is the magic bullet.
and he's definitely going to look like a savior now because of, well, he had a Tampa Bay athlete, Blake Snell.
You know what the
He's
cool
just
thing
talking-
is? That after all the paychecks, cuts or whatever that you said he took, at the end of the day, if this goes as he's planned it, with coming over here, imagine in 30 years when his name is mentioned, I mean, it's going to be up here. Like, look, he came over here and proved this, and he did this, So that's pretty cool.
So I am not even, gonna mention 30 years. think about the payoff he is liable to get if it works out the way he wants it to work out when he came to Tampa. Because think about it, you come to a team that wasn't doing anything. They weren't making that mark. And the first season you come or second season you come, you get them into, Super Bowl contention. That's going to say a lot about the brand Tom Brady. Not the brand the Bucks or the Patriots. It's going to be the Tom Brady.
That's what it's all
brand.
about.
Mm-hmm.
So that says a lot. So if he can do that, man, the payout that he will get within the next 3 to 4 years is going to be astronomical. Think about it. Like, he's going to get endorsements left and right just because of those 2 years of what he did.
I jump on the whole Bucks situation thing, but I do remember when I first moved here to the Tampa Bay area or whatever, I didn't know who Tampa Bay was. From Miami is all about the Dolphins. So when I moved down here, actually, I think that year or the next year, they won the Super Bowl, didn't they?
Yeah, that was
the
what,
early
like,
2000s.
02,
yeah.
03.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I had just moved down here, so
No, was it?
that was my introduction. Yeah, it was like 2002.
Oh, yeah, it was
2003, something
Like the
that.
2002 season,
Yeah.
2003.
And that was my introduction to the Bucks. Cause I really didn't, I'm not a sports guy, so, I thought
Yeah.
it was all about the Dolphins living in Miami, but
Well,
yeah, they
one
won
thing, one thing Bucks fans, they're never going to forget this because I was a young kid when Joe Montana came to Kansas City. He was a 49er. Won
Growing
the
I kind of got interested in football. I'm Dominican, man. We into baseball.
Yeah.
So, but that's cool.
yeah. So yeah, don't like Blake Snell right now.
So you mentioned, Miami. I know, Jake, you have some feelings about the Miami play at this moment.
Well, and I even looked in their roster right now and their depth chart and everything, and I think of the 3 quarterbacks taken in the first 6 picks of the draft. I mean, I don't know. I'm asking you, actually, as a Dolphins fan.
Oh, you're the Dolphins fan. I'm trying to think. Which one of y'all is Dolphins fans?
Well, you know what? I asked Jake this question because, like I say, if I'm looking for sports knowledge, I'm going to go to Jake because Jake knows, especially because I'm pretty on the same page as Jake as far as, like, the sports I follow. Like, I follow football. That's my, that's top one that I follow. NFL, then, and, college. I was going to try to say the abbreviation, but I totally forgot it just now. So as far as being a Dolphins fan, I was not 100% on board with the Tua pick. It's not because of what I don't feel like he can do, but he has health issues. Mm-hmm. And if you look at his stats for the last few years, man, Tua's been hurt a lot. And it's like, for a person, especially a quarterback, for a quarterback to be hurt that much coming in as your rookie year in the NFL, man, that leaves a lot of concern for, one, your teammates, your coach, your organization, and most importantly, the fans. Like, if the fans pay attention like I pay attention to it, it's like, man, why are we doing this when at this point, he seems, injury prone. Mm-hmm. He's a Dolphin now, so I'm going to back him. The minute he leaves the Dolphins, I'm not a Tua fan anymore, and that's just how my loyalty lies. But I still have concerns about how he's going to perform simply because I don't feel confident in the protection he has right now. It could change.
Yeah.
But at this point, I don't feel confident in that protection.
Maybe, it's a team. Football is a team sport. If they're on board with Tua, they're going to do whatever they can to protect him and to try to win. Now, I have a little question. Of the 3 teams that drafted a quarterback in the first 6 picks, do you feel like Miami was more pressured into drafting Tua than the Chargers with the next pick?
Yeah, I actually do, simply because you got to think about it in this. You got to bring a little bit of politics into this.
Yeah.
This has been, a 2-year campaign. Mm-hmm. This has been the primaries for them. So there's been that, hashtag tank for Tua.
Tank for Tua, yeah.
And so now when you got something like that building up, and like, you kind of have to stick with it, you know what I mean? Because that's what the fans want to see. So at the end of the day, it's like, one, that's who's paying the bills. The fans are paying the bills. So if we don't essentially give them what they want, we're putting ourselves in a position to lose those fans and lose that revenue. So, yeah, man, they were put under pressure to pick up Tua. Because honestly, if they weren't under the pressure, I don't believe we would have got Tua. I believe we would have went after Justin Herbert.
I caught that part of the draft, the Tua part. It was a coincidence, and it happened to be Miami. What's the deal with this dude? Like, I don't know anything about him.
Yeah, you're fine. Tua, his last name is Tagovailoa. And it took me a while to get that down.
Said, okay, Tagovailoa.
He plays quarterback. He's a bit undersized.
Oh, he's a quarterback.
Yep,
undersized.
he's a bit undersized. And check this out. I love this part. He is a natural right-handed, but his father, from when he was a young kid, trained Tua to throw the ball left-handed.
Yeah, my brother's like that. He's left-handed, but my mom, well, either way, my brother is like that. He catches, I guess, with his right and throws with his left, or he could do either one. I don't know.
Well,
all right.
Tua would have thrown the ball right-handed.
He throws with his left.
He throws with his left, and he has injury issues.
So I'm going to let you guys continue in just a second. I just want to let you guys know that we are live on YouTube. So if you go into the comments of YouTube and ask us a question, we will be more than willing to answer that. Or if we don't know the answer at this point, we'll come back to you.
or shoot us a text message.
Yeah, shoot us a text message. If you have our numbers, shoot us a text message.
You got our numbers?
Yeah, you better not have mine. But yeah, if you got a question that you want to ask us, go ahead and drop a comment in the comment box in YouTube, and we will do our best to answer it. And yes, YouTube, subscribe, follow, sign up for the notifications, because we're going to bring you content every week at least. We're trying to make this a thing because it needs to be out there. Like I said before, this is stuff that everybody's thinking about, but they put it in a way that you don't want to listen. So hopefully you guys want to listen to how we say it and how we bring it to you. So sorry for that interruption. Back to it.
You're fine. But yeah, note Tua, Alabama quarterback. Awesome stats besides getting injured. Pretty amazing quarterback in college.
Yeah. I watched the guy play in college, and I was like, man, he had a little twinkle of Vic in him, like, because he's a mobile quarterback. And I was like, man, he can run. I'm not saying he's a Michael Vick at all, but I think at this point he has more weapons than Michael Vick had, because Michael Vick was an impatient quarterback. He didn't want to wait. So, but he knew he had that secondary that he can go to. He can go to his feet and make some plays happen. Tua has that more of a game awareness that he's like, you know what? I could probably run and make something happen, but let me just play it out a little bit long and see what happens, because maybe my run would have got 10 or 15 yards, but if I played it out, I can get 30 to 40 yards.
Tua had the receivers to throw to. He had Jerry Jeudy and Henry Ruggs, both first-round
What
draft
college
picks.
did he
Alabama.
Just,
Yep.
Alabama. Oh, I know a few Alabama
Yeah, he was a Saban kid.
fans.
Yeah.
Was he a Saban? Yeah, he was a
Yes.
Saban kid. Yeah. So I think that it's going to be interesting to see him play. Honestly, it is. I know we do as a Dolphins fan. So when I say we, being a Dolphins fan, you are a part of that organization. I don't care what anybody says. The minute you sign up to be a fan for a certain team, you become a part of that organization, because listen, you affect the outcome. It's just like an election, man. You affect the outcome in which way it goes, because listen, if management sees somebody that they really like, but the fans hate them, are just not on board with it, they're probably going to lean towards what the fans say, because at the end of the day, it's a business. They don't want to risk losing that revenue. So it's like, you know what? We might not win with this guy, but the fans love him. And I can probably, if I really think about it, I can name a lot of players that got positions because of that. Because they was like, oh, he's a charismatic guy. People want to see what he does. Like, let's go. Ocho Cinco at the end of his career, he wasn't really putting up the stats, but he was charismatic, and people wanted to see what he was going to do. That was the only reason
That's
he ended
the guy
up
with the funny dance, right? That made up like.
Well,
I don't even know.
you
but I'm
really
saying, I've
can't,
heard-
because there's
I've
been
heard the
so
name
many
before.
people with funny dances. You had like Deion Sanders with the Dirty Bird. Oh, was
Yeah.
that Ray Lewis? It was Deion Sanders that came up with the Dirty Bird, wasn't it?
I don't even know what the Dirty Bird is. Deion Sanders.
What?
Yeah. What's the Dirty Bird?
I'm not gonna do it.
You can do it. I wouldn't judge you, and
I would
I'm
judge
sure.
my.
I'm
I
sure
would
people
judge my-
watching would love it.
They would probably love it because my shirt buttons would pop when I did it.
I don't know what the names of dances are, but I
Yeah.
could.
It was. I'm not even gonna try to explain it because I feel like if I try to explain it, it's gonna make it worse than it really is. But yeah, like, I feel like there's still there's players that get that position because of them being a character and not a player anymore. Like they became that. Oh man, I'm coming out here to see Ocho Cinco because we don't know what he's gonna do next. Hey, make your money if that's how it's gonna work. I'm not mad at you.
Well, Tua's not going to start at first anyway, so I think we're.
So, in my opinion, of course, I like Fitzpatrick as a secondary quarterback. He's a guy that can give us support when we need it. I felt like there should have been another guy that could start, and then,
They kept Josh Rosen.
you know what? Now, but
Josh Rosen.
So it's a toss
Bust.
up when you talk about Josh Rosen because Josh Rosen is not a guy, and in my opinion, he wasn't a guy that wanted to play football. His dad was a high school star, so he had to be a high school star also.
I mean, he was a top pro style quarterback out of high school, UCLA, arrogant prick. Sorry, language. And he
Censor.
stayed that. Yeah, he stayed that. He had that attitude. Arizona drafted him. He did terrible. In the first round, in the next year, they traded him to Miami, and now he's third string behind Tua and
Fitz magic.
Fitz magic. So, but yeah, I just wanted to know about your opinion on Tua, along with my.
You know what? We could honestly talk about that for a while, but I am not gonna sit there because it'll be out. Listen, there might be some curse words being said after that because I'll get a couple drinks in me and then I'll go all in and like I said,
Tua happy.
nah, I don't know if it'll be too happy, but yeah, it's just that it's that important for us as an organization because right now, the Dolphins as an organization, we are in the bottom 5. And
Who's at the bottom?
So at the bottom, I believe it's the Bengals.
I mean, the Bengals. You could say that because they were
whatever
last year.
happened
But
to the Bengals? When I was a
Yeah.
kid, I always liked them because of the Bengals, the lion, the tiger stripes
Yeah.
and shit.
Oh my!
the helmets are awesome.
Yeah.
I've always liked that.
Language.
Whatever happened to the Browns and the
Well,
Raiders?
They're
So-
trying, man. They're
they're
still
trying.
trying.
But the
Poor
Browns
Browns.
have
That's a different day, different
Yeah,
conversation.
that
Different
is
day.
man because they
All these lost teams. I mean, there's so many teams out there that you don't never hear about. Like you go to this hat store, Lids, and you see, I see teams that are like, what? Really? This is a team? Wow, that's cool.
yeah
It's interesting that you say that.
You don't
though.
never see
I
them on
mean,
TV
no.
or nothing.
That's
or
really
hear about
good.
them.
That's really
it's
interesting.
it's all about
It's controlled by a handful of teams that you always hear about.
yeah it
the
is
Cowboys.
Yep.
What else? New
Patriots,
Cowboys, Patriots. I mean, even the Eagles.
Pittsburgh.
The
Pittsburgh
Seahawks,
was for a
like,
while.
Pittsburgh for sure.
Like
yeah.
a few
Ravens.
years ago, all of a sudden,
49ers.
the Seahawks were in it. Right? Is it the Seahawks?
Yeah, Seattle.
All of a
Yeah.
sudden, but those were they were one of the lost teams that you never heard about.
Yep.
Yeah,
long
for a
time.
while.
Even basketball, what's the Golden State? They were one of those teams
Yeah.
that you never heard about.
Never
Wait,
heard
wait,
of
And
that.
then all of a
was it-
sudden,
I thought
bam,
Golden
they
State
come out
was
of nowhere.
I agree with
predominantly
him.
newer organization, or has Golden State been around for a while?
They've been around for a while.
Oh well,
Yeah.
that's how that
See?
shows you.
Yeah,
'Cause,
that's exactly
I
right.
thought Golden State was a newer organization. I thought they were like the Raptors.
Yeah, I mean,
If it
I
wasn't
thought
for Stephen
yeah.
Curry, I wouldn't
Right.
ever hear about the Golden
And
State
I
Warriors.
always used to see their hats, like jerseys and stuff at the sports stores
Mm-hmm.
or whatever. And then all of a sudden, who the heck is Stephen Curry? Who the hell is this guy? And bam, all of a sudden, the little bridge thing, their symbol, whatever.
Now there's tons of Warriors
yeah,
fans. out
everybody's
there. I had no
everybody's a
idea.
fan. It's like, man, you didn't even know about this team,
Exactly.
last
Yeah.
year. What the hell are you talking about? Yeah,
It's a
it's like that with everything, baseball, everything.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
You're right.
The team that I do like from Florida is the what's the hockey team? The
Lightning?
Lightning. I
Yeah.
like them.
Yeah,
I like them.
Yeah.
I'm not a.
It's
They-
hard not to like
They
them.
are awesome. They do a lot for the community too.
yeah, they
actually.
do. They actually do.
They're good people.
I'm not a big hockey fan, but yeah, the Lightning is a good organization that does a lot for the community. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna bring my personal life into it. Most of the people that know me knows my son is battling cancer, and one of the organizations that reached out to him was the Ryan Callahan Foundation, which Ryan Callahan was none other than Tampa Bay Lightning.
Yeah.
So he did a lot for my son in that aspect, and it was like, sometimes you feel like when people start these organizations that they do it because they have
Tax
to.
write-off.
Yeah. But then to see like how hands-on this guy is with his organization, because a lot of people, they start these organizations and then they have some characters running their organization
Yeah.
that
He's
then you
hands-on.
automatically feel like it's a scam.
Yeah.
But this guy, he's hands-on. Like he
All
gets on like the Children's Cancer Society page, and he starts he'll do like bedtime stories and stuff like that
Really?
for the kids
Wow.
during this pandemic. So you can tell the guy is really passionate about helping people, because he might have something in his life that pushed him towards that. So
Right.
it's always good to see people giving back like that. It's an amazing thing, and it shows you how much those guys appreciate us.
Yeah, I've been wanting to go to a Lightning game for a while.
Yeah,
I've
I'm
heard some
interested in
really-
going to
still
one
haven't
myself.
been.
Yeah, I've
Still
never
haven't
been.
been.
I've seen people that went, and it's like, man,
I know-
I've never been to a hockey game, but man, that's the funnest I've ever had at a sports
Three
event.
guys that live in the Tampa Bay area. None of us have been to a
Been to a
Lightning
hockey
game.
game.
No, but I just
Everyone says
the
how much
problem.
fun it
The
is.
problem for me is if they would just arrange the schedule. Like, who the hell goes to a game at 2:00 in the afternoon on a Tuesday? Like, really, people have
Hockey
to
fans
work,
and baseball fans.
Yeah.
That's why I
that's
haven't been
true.
able to go. But I know like 3 DJs that actually do events for the Lightning.
Yeah,
And every time I see them, the Lightning, they're cool as hell and blah blah blah. I love working for them.
yeah.
I've heard a lot of good things.
I've heard a lot of good things, and you know what? I want to put that on. I'm not going to call it my bucket list, but I'm going to put it on my list of things because there's things in the Tampa Bay area that people just neglect to do, and it's so accessible to them, but I guess they kind of take it for granted.
Yeah.
But there's like, come on, nobody thought about Big Cat Habitat or Big Cat Sanctuary until.
Yeah, but I've been going there. Oh no, actually,
Between-
right now in my
until
wallet,
Tiger King came
nah,
out.
bro. Actually, right now in my wallet, I got 6 passes because I stay going there, man.
Yeah,
I know the owner. I know the people that take care of the
Wait,
animals.
you know the people that take care.
Oh,
of,
yeah, I've been
Wait,
knowing them.
which one? Big Cat Habitat
Big
or
Cat
Big Cat
Habitat here
Rescue?
in Sarasota.
Okay,
Big Cat
not
Habitat.
the one that's related to Carol Baskin.
Big
No,
Cat
well,
Rescue
actually,
in
no.
Tampa,
Let me
Florida.
correct you. They are related to them. Actually,
They're affiliated?
Yeah, they're affiliated.
Big Cat Habitat's not affiliated.
Yes, it is. And if you ever go there, they do a big presentation with a video of her talking and all kinds of shit.
Then
Yeah.
Oh.
She's affiliated. She doesn't run the place, but she is affiliated with them.
Huh.
The family that takes care of that has the big cat, the family that's in charge of this part of it, Big Cat Habitat here in Sarasota. I don't know if they're, related to Carol Baskin,
She might be an investor.
but she is a part of
Yeah.
it in somehow, some
She
way,
might be
because
an investor.
they show a presentation about, and this is before this whole TV Netflix thing, yeah, this is before that. I mean, it's a big big family that is involved in that, but they're good people. I see them all the time. They at least once a week they go over to my shop.
Listen, y'all see me
Right
keep
on.
looking down. It's because of last week. This is why I keep looking down. So last week, everybody knows about the live stream debacle. So now I'm just looking down at my phone like, yeah, we're still live. We're still going good.
It was working.
Yeah. It's an accomplishment, man. Like you feel like a kid in
I
the candy store when
I
it
think
happens.
last week we got drunk before we started the show.
we did.
Yeah, we
See,
did. We shouldn't have.
We should be getting
Sorry.
drunk as we speak.
As we speak,
the
like-
show progresses.
You know, we need somebody to be able to bring us drinks because it looks weird when you jump up and
Yeah.
go grab a drink.
We need a midget to bring us drinks in here. I'm gonna hire one. If you're a
So-
midget and you want a part-time job, holla at me.
That's a protected class.
Is midget like a public? Is a bad word or it's a not? What is it politically?
You know what? I
correct
don't
word?
really want to get into it because I don't want to
Little
wind
people?
up in Publix and
I don't want the controversy. Bring it.
I want the
Do
controversy
you
too. But
feel offended if I call you a midget? Do you feel offended?
well, if I'm not a midget,
I want to know. out there. The
Like,
public.
I don't even know how to like transition.
Either
I don't
way,
know how to go on from that. I guess
I'm not
I
trying to be
want-
disrespectful if you are a midget. I'm just saying if
Listen,
you are and you feel
I would like to
disrespected, I'm
go
sorry.
on and talk about my man Tyson. Tyson, you know what?
You mean
Bring-
Tyson Fury?
You know what? Now that you bring it up, because I said last week that it was Deontay Wilder that was talking trash about Mike Tyson. It wasn't. It was Tyson Fury that was running his mouth.
That's the dude. That's
Yeah,
the
that was
heavy.
Coughs up enough money. I don't know. Mike Tyson looked in shape when I watched that
Tyson will
video.
Drag him, man.
So the way I feel about this is, yeah, Tyson's gonna win that if it's between Tyson and Holyfield, because I watched both videos. Holyfield, there's like, oh man, Holyfield looks good. No, he doesn't. He doesn't look good at all. He looks like an old man trying to box. I'm sorry, it looks bad. So you just like, it looks like something I would be able to do in the boxing, like in the gym. He didn't look, and he was like, "Oh, I'm back." I'm like, "From where?" Like the grocery store, because he did
From Walmart.
because like he didn't look good. Like when I saw Tyson's video, I was actually afraid. I was like, "God,
man.
this dude is." He's a senior citizen, and my man got hands like lightning.
Yeah.
And then Holyfield gets in there and wants to post his video. Like, first off, big ups to Tyson, because whoever did Tyson's video, like they had their production down. Like they had cuts, they had he was doing his thing, and then like Holyfield's video was just some dude with a cell phone, like filming. It was like, oh, that's your whole camp, Holyfield. You got the dude that you're punching and the guy with the cell phone. And
That's one of those situations I think that let's say a fight does happen and the is about to happen 15 minutes before the fight. A Holyfield representative will go into the Mike Tyson's camp and be like, "Hey, sir, let's each of us are each of you guys are making money. Let's work something out. Take it easy. He's gonna take it easy on you. You take it easy on him. Let's just
I wouldn't doubt it. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Come on,
Of course.
man. That's
So what movie was, because it was a movie with Robert De Niro and another fighter. It was, I can't remember.
Oh.
And that's what they did. They were like old time fighters, and they came up and it was like their
Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah, and they was like, well, let's take it easy
give
on
him a
each
show,
other.
but
Yeah, let's give them a
take it
show.
easy.
But and then like these two dudes had like, and this is the same thing. It's exactly the same.
Hey,
To
can you
be
picture
honest,
Mike Tyson?
It's
Yeah,
exact-
okay, buddy. Yeah.
honestly, it's it's the
Get up there and whoop
exact
his ass.
same scenario. Well, not the exact same, but these two guys hated each other in this movie. Like they, at one point in time, they were friends, and then something happened with a girl, I guess, and they fell out, and like for probably 40 years, they just hated each other. And when it came time for them to have this fight,
They had to talk.
they were like, "I'm gonna knock you out." But their PR
Grudge
people,
match.
yes,
PR,
grudge match. Their PR guys was like, "Hey man, just give them a show. Let's take it easy on each other." And it was like, "Nah, man, these dudes they're trying to kill each other."
Yeah.
And then like I know Tyson and Holyfield has made up, but how?
Yeah,
you could
nah,
never be
you
okay fully after somebody
Man,
bites your ear off. I'm
Holyfield.
sorry.
Didn't Holyfield was
You
the one?
can't do that.
Holyfield was the one that messed up his whole record, right? He was the first one that actually beat him. Wasn't that the first fight he actually lost? Mike
I
Tyson?
am not 100% on
the
that.
first time they fought before the ear, right? Because they fought twice.
That's
Yeah.
right.
The
Yeah.
first time Mike Tyson ever hit the mat
I'm not sure.
was that first
Hey,
fight
you could-
before the ear situation.
You could be correct.
Yeah.
It could be
So
correct.
can you imagine Holyfield's camp? Yo, take it easy. Mike Tyson like, yeah, tell him, yeah, I'm gonna take it easy.
But then
And
you
then they
gotta
get in the
remember,
ring, and Mike Tyson lights his ass up.
but then you got to remember, man, like
Mm.
Tyson took a chunk of Holyfield air the next
Hey
fight.
man,
Like,
hey,
I
that's-
feel like he
that
got
dude
his
got that.
revenge.
It's that Street Fighter mentality still, man. Even though he was a professional fighter, but he still had that street in him. And Holyfield was the first guy, I believe, to. I don't know if he knocked him out, but he beat him.
He put
That
him- yeah,
It wasn't a knockout.
You
win.
could be right, man. Like I'm not 100% on that, but it sounds about right. It really does.
Yeah, I believe that's the second fight was the ear situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The second fight was the
That's-
air
yeah.
situation.
Yeah. I just don't know if.
And it's
I don't know, man. It's-
I don't,
like,
I don't know. If Tyson was
it's-
undefeated before he lost to Holyfield.
yeah,
first,
I'm
though.
not sure.
yeah, he was. I believe so.
It's possible. I don't know.
Yeah, it's
I think
that's
so.
that's something that we'll have to look into because now I'm super
gonna
interested to
Google it.
see Well,
That's
there's
why the
There it
Google
is.
machine is
the
up.
power of technology.
While he's looking that up, though,
Yeah, like
let's watch that video.
let's
Mike
watch
Tyson.
that video. Yeah, like honestly, that Tyson video was it's a scary sight, man.
It is scary.
It's
First Mike
so
Tyson
scary.
defeat.
I think last time I
Who was
said
defeated?
Mike Tyson looked like more than an animal. I still don't know what that means.
Oh, so it was nope. It was so it was Buster
shit,
Douglas that
Buster
knocked out.
Douglas, 1990.
Good
See,
to
I didn't
know.
I
Yeah.
didn't know.
Trivia.
Like you never thought a dude that would have a name like Buster would be would be able to knock anybody out.
Yeah.
Like if you had a dog named Buster and you had a dog named Tyson, who you putting money on?
Buster.
Oh yeah. Previously to this, he was 37-0.
Before Buster Douglas?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense now.
Speaking of names
Oh, he actually knocked Mike Tyson out.
and Buster,
Buster don't want nothing to do with Mike Tyson because
Buster Rhymes
still
really lived
around?
up to his name.
Buster Douglas.
That guy
Is he
can
still
spit.
around?
Oh,
You know what
Buster
I mean?
Rhymes. You know what? You know what, Jake? Now that you even mention,
Sorry, I don't know why I went to that.
it's okay because this is something that I wanted to talk about. You know, each of us were probably from a different era of music, but I feel there's somebody in this era of music. I don't care what genre it is, but there's somebody in this era of music that you feel like is making their mark.
You asking me?
I'm asking both of you
Okay,
guys.
I'll
Okay.
tell you real.
I want to
okay,
know the
go ahead.
genre and I want to know the person.
I got you. Who you wanna go first?
I don't care who goes
I
first because
want
I'm
Baby
interested
Jesus.
to hear
I
this.
want DJ Lex to go
Okay,
first.
so check this out. So if you have not heard or seen or whatever, it was announced. I believe it was Thursday or Friday. Do you know who Bad Bunny is?
Yeah.
Bad Bunny, the first
He's a
Latin
reggaeton
artist
artist,
ever to be featured on the front cover of Rolling Stone magazine. That's a big thing
That is
because
a big
this
thing.
this
I didn't know
artist, Bad Bunny, this artist, he was in the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Right? He was
He was
like,
in the last
not
Super
the
Bowl.
first Latin artist, but for his genre, which is reggaeton, he was, the first reggaeton artist. Him and J Balvin, the first two reggaeton artists to be in a Super Bowl in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
How come Pitbull wasn't in it? Big
Ooh.
question, huh?
Yeah, that is because
Anthony?
honestly,
He was in
I'm gonna
commercials.
explain to
though.
you a real quick explanation, and then I'm gonna get back to
yeah.
you know.
When you say that, I want to just give my little insert on that, but I'm gonna let you have that mic.
So-
I thought Pitbull was in one of the commercials that promoted
Yes,
the Super Bowl.
yes,
Yes, he did,
but
yeah.
because obviously Pitbull, Miami, you have to put him in somehow.
Yeah.
So, but the reason why he was not involved in the actual show is because Beyonce and Jay-Z are in charge of the Super Bowl,
Yep.
entertainment.
Yes.
and they have beef.
Oh, really? I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
Yeah. So
What about Gloria Estefan?
no?
Does
that's
Jay-Z
old-
have beef
that's
with Gloria
old,
Estefan
but
too?
No,
I'm
but
kidding.
Gloria Estefan has been in the Super Bowl before, like years ago.
Was she?
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
I think that was back in the 90s.
Yeah.
She would have
So
been in
anyway,
this one.
Bad Bunny, Rolling Stone magazine,
Cool.
that's big time. So he put out an album, what is it, month and a half ago? He just put out another one, back-to-back albums from extra songs. When albums put together, there might be 10 songs or 12 songs picked out of 50 songs,
Yeah.
50 tracks.
Yeah.
Anyway, out of these 12 tracks from the original album, there was a bunch other that he did. And he just released back-to-back albums, another album on Mother's Day. But these are recordings with old school reggaeton artists like Don Omar. He put Nicky Jam on. So he's doing big things, man. Huge, man. This guy is like on the top. I mean, even American top 40, music, list or whatever.
So you mentioned reggaeton. I'm gonna tell you like my introduction to reggaeton because this is gonna sound real jacked up, but before I got introduced to what reggaeton was as a genre and a culture, I'd hear it on the radio or I'd hear it and I'd be like, that's Mexican
When you
music.
were introduced to it wasn't really on the radio.
Yeah, it wasn't on the
it
radio. It
wasn't on the
wasn't.
radio.
And so I really got introduced to reggaeton was I was doing security at a nightclub, and the concert I was doing was Pitbull, and literally the only song his hit was at that time was Culo.
But that's not reggaeton, just so you know.
So reggaeton that's so what would you consider that?
that was a hybrid dancehall song because that song originally was wasn't it Red Rat or Mr. Vegas? Originally, that beat that he used for Culo, the song Culo,
Yeah.
it was actually like a
dancehall.
remix.
Yeah, it was a dancehall.
Yeah, originally it was a dancehall.
You're right.
Yeah, that's not reggaeton. You know what reggaeton is.
Yeah, but
know?
I would consider that like my first like that
Exposure?
opened
Nah.
that opened the door
Nah.
because then that's
Before
when I
that-
started listening to like Don Omar and
No,
Tego
because
Calderon
if
and
you
all
were
those
involved
guys.
in the nightclub business at that time, you were doing Latin nights where I was playing.
No, man, that was
before. No,
that was before. That was my
what
first.
venue was it?
That was
you
at
went to?
Club Envy in Sarasota. That was the first time I ever worked
Okay,
with.
so yeah.
and
At
then-
that time, you were not.
Yeah,
in
and
the
then
Latin
after that
scene.
that concert is when I started going to the Coliseum and started going to like the actual Latin club, and that's when I got to hear like
But Pitbull-
actual like reggaeton, bachata, salsa, merengue, and all that stuff. That's when I started hearing that.
Yeah.
But before, like, I had like two genres that I like. Well, no, I'll say three. It was reggae because that's what I grew up on. And, that reggae is gonna always be in my heart. So at the end of the day, I will listen to reggae before I listen to anything. And then when I moved up to the States from Bahamas, it was hip hop. Hip hop was a big thing. So those were the two. And then like I got enlightened by a couple friends of mine, and country music started coming about. And let me tell you something. If you can't really love music if you can't find something in 90% of the genres you hear, something like whether it be a beat, a verse, a lyric, there's something about each genre
Of course.
that will catch you. If it doesn't, I don't feel like your ears are open to actual listening to music.
And a lot of people would say, "No, I don't like country music." I'm not one of those people. Yes, most country songs out there are not my, my go-to, but there are a few that I love. Like one of the party tracks that I like is "Country Girl Shake It For Me." Country girl, as a DJ, I like playing that song, and I do it on purpose on hip hop nights. Like when I'm playing hip hop,
you know what? That's a good
I'll
song
mix it
to
on
jump
purpose.
into. To be honest with
Yeah,
you,
and another song that I like is "Old Dirt." Is it "Old Dirt Road" or "Old Country Road"?
It's
"Old Dirt Road."
Yeah,
I have
Wait,
it. I have
it
it.
is.
no,
I think.
no, because I think Older Road is a new one.
It's
That's
the new
Lil
one.
Nas. That's Lil no.
No, not the new one.
I think it's
Not the
Old
new
Country
one.
Road. Well, there's
Let me find it. I'll play a little bit of it.
Yeah.
It's but that's a hot song because if you listen to the lyrics, man, that's cool. It's the one that
Old
talks
Town
about
Road.
the Old Town Road. Yeah,
I'ma
no,
tell
not
you-
Old Town Road, man.
I don't know.
No, the one with the I got a what is it? Hold on, let me find it real quick.
So I'm gonna tell you, whilst he's looking for that, I'm gonna tell you like my favorite country
Old
song.
Dirt Road.
And this is why it's my favorite country. So when me and my wife first got together, like we started living together, and I think we were moving to a different house, and we was like, we were just it was a busy day. We got done doing whatever we were gonna do, and we went to Applebee's, and it was a karaoke night. Now my oldest son James, at the time, he was like 3 or 4, like at the most, and like he just wanted to get up there and sing. So he sang "Paint Me a Birmingham," and I think who was it? Alan Jackson that sang that. I'm not sure who sang "Paint Me a Birmingham," right? But he got up there and he wanted to sing it. This 4-year-old kid in the middle of Applebee's, and it's like 11 o'clock at night. Yeah, we were like terrible parents at the time.
Oh, right here.
Yeah. So he gets up and singing. It's a packed restaurant. When I say this kid had grown adults sitting on the floor in front of him, listening to him sing, like, and then it was like, man, he sang it verbatim, like that's how he was good. Yeah. So this is the song Alex is talking about.
That's the song right there.
What is it called?
Dirt Road Anthem. I like this song.
Yeah, I've heard this.
Yeah, boy,
Have
that's
you heard
the
this?
jam,
Of course
boy.
I've heard this,
Oh,
yeah.
I don't know. Like,
I
yeah.
know.
So we're not gonna play all of it because we want to stay on the YouTube.
Exactly. But man, that's the jam.
It
right
is
there.
like honestly, there's a lot, and I think my era of country is like from 2000 to 2008. Is like that era of music, and then the old school jams like George Strait, and of course Willie Nelson, and
You taking it deep.
there's a couple of guys from back in the. Listen, to this day, if Reba McEntire comes up to me and sings Jolene, listen, it is over. It is absolutely over.
I love
That's
you, buddy.
probably
You mean
one of
Dolly
my
Parton?
favorite. Well, actually, Reba McEntire sang a version of Jolene
Sure,
too.
she did cover
but
it, but
I've heard Reba McEntire's version before I heard Dolly Parton's. But when you first get introduced to something, you always fall in love with that thing that introduced you to it.
okay, yeah,
So, and that's who it was. It was Reba McEntire for me.
right
Yeah.
on.
I like all kinds of music.
I can find one song that I like from all the genres that I hate for sure.
So, okay, now who's that guy or that artist that's
Right
being
now,
loud to you? Who is that person that you say, all right, he's in the forefront or she's in the forefront or they're in the forefront?
I'm not the biggest fan, just me personally, and it's, my opinion is my opinion. But I see Post Malone everywhere. He's on every commercial. He's on he was probably on a cover of Rolling Stone. I don't know, maybe.
Yeah,
he's
I
everywhere,
think so.
though.
You
Yeah.
don't like Post Malone?
I'm not a big fan. That's just my thing.
No, I mean,
I like because he comes out with some good music and he's such a weird guy.
Everyone
I
I
think
mean,
he
he's
has
so
the
popular.
recipe. See,
Yeah, he does have the
thing is
recipe.
to be a successful artist. Yes, there are some people that become successful thinking outside of the closet, but there are
I've
there
never
are
heard that term
formulas
before out of the closet. It's
No,
normally
no,
out of the box.
out of the box, whatever. There are formulas that people like straight off the bat put together that are, as if you're involved in music, it's going to be instant success. So he has that formula and the people behind him that have his back with the formula. So that's what happened with him. The look, even from the look to the the type of music he puts out.
Yeah,
you know?
I can see that
Everything.
because he put out this I guess this was like a high school project or something. He put this out, and it was just like one of those train wrecks that you couldn't stop watching. It was like, what are you doing? Because but honestly, in that video, you could tell this kid is gonna do something. He's gonna break barriers, or he's gonna be a star because he had the confidence to just step out, right? What Alex is saying, step outside of the box to do something different. And then, you look at him now, and it's like, man, he's everywhere. He's doing soundtracks
He is.
of major movies and stuff like that. It's an amazing
What's
accomplishment.
the dude that sings gospel that he always sounds like he's about to curse him, but it's like real upbeat stuff.
Who? Kurt Franklin?
Kirk Franklin. There's a song that he has actually that I love. This song, "Smile," I believe it's called.
If you want to go to gospel, I think I would go with like Tamala Mann, like "Take Me to the King."
I mean, I don't know the artist. I'm just
yeah,
saying,
no. I'm
I'm
just saying. You said it
out
was.
of any genre, there's songs. There's
Oh, of
specific
course,
songs
yeah.
That are like, wow.
Tamala Mann is by gospel artist. Like, yeah, she has this song "Take Me to the King," and if like the way I judge music is, it has to make me feel something. Like you have to get that tingly feeling. You have to get like, some songs will make you tear up because it brings it. I feel like if it doesn't bring back a memory for you, or it doesn't make you feel like this is gonna be a memory for you, it doesn't really resonate and it doesn't stick. So there's songs that when I hear it, like I automatically think of something that happened in the past, and that's how I gauge music. If it doesn't do that for me, I don't feel like it was a
I
success.
gotcha. Yeah.
The funny thing is, my favorite band in the whole world, like I would drop any types of money to go see them live, is Red Hot Chili Peppers. Yes, Dominican
man.
guy is saying this. Red Hot Chili Peppers to me, and what's his name? Kid Rock. I love Kid Rock. I don't know though.
Honestly,
I just think their music is good.
You're
I
gonna
love
think
it.
it's weird coming out of me, but there's a band right now, and honestly, now I lost the name of the band. They sing "The Cave" or "Little Lion Man." If look up "Little Lion Man" and you'll know the band. But like they sing like a folk type of rock, and they have like one guy.
Dave Matthews Band is another one that I love.
He's playing the banjo, and he has like that, that little, and he's playing it, and you're like, man, I want to hear what they're about to say.
You know what it
and
is?
It's crazy.
I'm gonna tell you what it is. Growing up, right? junior high, high school, MTV was the shit in the mornings and in the afternoon. So the difference was that MTV at that time, which was our way to get new music, watch new videos, it was a mixture of everything. It wasn't only hip hop. It wasn't only alternative music. It wasn't only like, this or that. I mean, you could sit down and watch it or TRL or whatever, and they would throw a Michael Jackson video or a Green Day video,
Yep.
and then MC Hammer, and and then Public Enemy. They would play all kinds of Snoop, Dr. Dre, everything. So people, it wasn't that closed mentality. Oh no, I only listen to hip hop.
It's crazy because we got away from that. Because you think about it, MTV doesn't play music anymore. You have to go to like
one
MTV
genre.
13 or BET doesn't play music anymore. I remember when I was growing up and those channels came out.
Oh man,
that's what those channels were there for. BET, Black Entertainment Television. They were playing all like the hip hop where it wouldn't get played.
No,
on like
after
MTV
like 2:00 in the morning, then that's when the real videos would start. Oh yeah.
I remember like the first video that I remember from that after 2:00 segment was Tip Drill. Tip Drill
yes.
Tip Drill was like,
oh yeah,
that was the video that like you stayed up to watch because you might see a little something.
Oh yeah,
it was that.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
but
just the times, it's.
I feel like they're more so they don't have what we had.
I've always my goal not this year because the Rona done messed everything up, but eventually for years I've been wanting to go to what is it, the rock festival they have here,
like Woodstock or
no,
Coachella.
the local rock radio station where what is it, Rock Fest or they
I'm
do a
not
big
sure.
rock festival,
You
and
know what?
they bring big bands like Metallica and big bands and shit. Well, I don't know if Metallica is big like that anymore, but they
Metallica will always
They
be
are.
big.
They
They'll always
bring
be big.
big bands, groups like that, And I've always wanted to go one of those. But the thing is, that's not something I could go by myself or tell my girl, hey, you want to go? No, I have to go with a crew.
Yeah.
Just
in case something pop off.
Hey, strap on your boots, and we're gonna go jump around in the crowd.
Yeah.
I want to do that. That's cool
I don't
as hell
know
to
if
me.
I want to jump around, but I do want to experience that feel for different genres of music, as far as in a live concert.
I do as well. I have been a little quiet during this whole thing just because I know that what I listen to is.
What do you listen to?
I mean,
I want to know what
that's
you
true.
listen to.
My fast go-to is classic rock and roll.
Yeah.
I'm a rock and roll person.
That's right.
So are we talking like big hair rock and roll?
Yeah,
or,
that also, but 70s rock. I mean, mainly.
Not Kiss, like Kiss or like
I like
farther
Kiss.
back. Yeah.
Further back too.
What's the dude? Johnny
60s,
Neutron type. What's the dude?
70s.
What's the dude that they just came out with a movie or something about him?
You talking about?
Elton John.
No.
Yeah.
We are the champions.
Oh, you talking about?
Queen.
That was
Bohemian
Queen.
Rhapsody,
Bohemian
Freddie
Bohemian,
Mercury.
that type of.
Yeah.
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 I like Queen.
Honestly,
That's
I
cool,
love
man.
Queen. I like Queen too.
I like I like all kinds of genres, and it's because the time, the 90s. If you grew up in the 90s, it don't matter how gangster you try to be. Michael Jackson comes on, you're gonna dance.
Yeah.
Something's gonna happen.
Well, and even those early stuff. I mean, a lot of people were covering those songs. Their influences came from somewhere, and they did. I mean,
Green Day, man,
Green
Limp
Day.
Bizkit, man, all those groups, man, that's awesome music,
yeah,
man.
funny that you-
Nirvana,
yeah.
I love all that.
Funny you mentioned Green Day, and I haven't looked this up in a while, but years and years ago, I was with a group of friends, and you mentioned Red Hot Chili Peppers before.
Yeah.
We debated who was better in the two whole decades of the 90s and the 2000s, Red Hot Chili Peppers or Green Day.
Green Day had it
Green
on
Day
lock, man.
by far, which is
What?
crazy to me because the 90s, I mean, Red Hot Chili Peppers were awesome.
So
back
I'm
then.
gonna
And then
skip-
Californication came out in
Oh,
99.
my God,
that
man.
album, I still listen to that
Oh
album.
yeah, I have
So-
it on my
But
playlist.
Green Day was just,
Hey man, I be
They
bugging the shit
sold
out of
more
my
than
wife. Hey,
everyone.
when we drive around, I put it on.
yeah.
But she does not even 10 seconds in the argument. Change it. I'm like,
So-
why? This is cool. Just listen to the lyrics.
Yeah.
So
This is
I'm
cool
gonna
music.
skip ahead to like the 2000s, and I'm gonna say my band of choice in 2000s rock band, hardcore too, System of the Down.
Oh yeah, no, that's
And
fighting music right
System-
there.
Like System.
Oh, yeah.
I still rock System to this day Cause like it makes me feel a certain way. Like if I'm going to the gym, like I'll play some system.
Hell yeah, man.
That what was it?
And
Aerials was probably my favorite song.
And Corn. Man,
Korn was, yeah.
Man, Corn was the shit, man. Man, there were times where 94.1 changed their format, okay? But in the early 2000s, when I first moved here, 94.1 used to play Corn and all that shit. Yeah, man.
Corn and Limp Bizkit were in that genre
you remember
called new metal.
Freak on a Leash?
It was, yeah.
When that song came out, they did like a world premiere on 94.1.
Yeah.
Yeah. Orlando used to play it all
rock,
the time.
The rap rock, those bands that did that, they were just taking what, Rage Against the Machine were doing.
I love Rage Against the Machine.
And,
man.
There's a lot of
because Rage was the one that sang. Was it either Rage Against the Machine or POD that sang Youth of a Nation. Youth of a Nation always made me. That always made me feel some type of way because it was like, I feel like I'm a part of something.
Rage was.
It made me feel like a part of something. Yeah.
The moral of the story is that if you're 30 and over, okay, you might be a closet, alternative music lover. But you know about this music.
Yeah, you
Don't
do.
act crazy. You know who Korn is. Yeah. You know who Nirvana is.
Unfortunately,
you know who Green
no matter
Day
what
is.
Korn is.
no matter what your background is, if you are over the age of 30, you can pinpoint something in each genre. I think it's this new class, this new school of music listening that they want to just stick to one. So they have to be that trap music guy. That's all I listen
But you know what? We have those times where there are certain situations.
Oh, yeah, you go through phases.
Yeah, where I'll throw some new stuff on. There's a lot of artists out there.
I feel like right now my new artist, if we're going into hip hop, is the Baby. The people don't like him for some reason, but I think there's like, you notice that every one of his songs sound the same? I was like, man, if you look back at 90% of the hip hop artists, majority of their songs sound the same.
The Baby, you know who the Baby reminds me of?
Who's that?
Juvenile. Like, listen to the way his flow.
I could agree with you
Juvenile.
on that. Yes.
Man, if it wouldn't have been for Juvenile going to jail, there would be no Lil Wayne. I hope you guys understand.
Oh,
that.
yeah. Juvie,
the only reason why Lil Wayne is Lil Wayne is because Juvenile got locked up.
They don't call him Juvie the Great for nothing.
Juvenile was the prime, the main artist for that label at that time. If it wouldn't have been because he got locked up, Lil Wayne
I feel like
would have never been Lil Wayne.
There wouldn't have been any Cash Money without Juvenile. Juvenile was Cash Money.
Hell yeah.
Birdman wasn't nothing. Nah. Juvenile made.
Birdman had his street money.
Yeah, he had street money, but as far as being in the industry,
that's how come they were able to blow up because he was financing it right off the bat. There was studio money.
Yeah,
cool acts that if somebody would back them up with money, they have talent.
Yeah,
like Soda.
Brandon
Soda. Yeah, he has a lot of talent, and I think his mentality, I've always liked his mentality when it comes to music because he doesn't rap about the car or the chain or the
he raps about life.
About life, and now he's working with a group, EPMD, is it? Or
I'm not sure who. I think what he's
doing like acoustic type, but that's cool, man. That's a great concept because he's able to have venues book them, and you have you're able to cater to a wider audience like that.
I think what it is there are certain artists that I won't call them local artists.
Local, yeah.
That they get those opportunities, but they are so true to their music,
and that's cool. Sometimes
they don't want to let anybody because you get a big company come at you. They want you to change who you are.
Right, he's staying true to himself, man.
That's to fit their format. They like you as an artist, but they don't like your personality. They don't like your presence. So they want you to change your presence so you could fit their format. And then it's like those guys that don't want to do that, they have a lot of success locally, but then because they won't do that, they kind of get shut out of that mainstream or being a bigger artist the biggest artist that they can be. And it's a sad thing.
I've heard a couple of his original tracks, and I respect a lot what he's doing because the dude's not rapping about the Bentley or the chain. And that's cool with me.
Yeah.
Dude, unless you have that, you shouldn't be talking about that. Mm-hmm. What the hell you know about riding around in a Bentley? Nothing.
Good point.
You bring... You know what? I'm gonna save this for another.
But that's just the '90s hip hop, lover in me.
I'm gonna save this for
That's
another
just that.
conversation because there's a conversation I want to have. And you know what? I'm gonna pose this question right now so you guys can think about it because I want you to think about it. And this goes to any genre, any way. And this is from you being a friend or you being an artist. At what point in your career do you feel like you need to stop if you haven't made the mark that you've made?
Yeah. See,
Yeah.
that's the big
That's
problem. You know, I don't
And
know.
then as a friend on the outside looking in, do you have what it takes? Do you have that
Do you give up
cojones
on your
to
dream?
tell your friend that, hey man, it's not what you think it is. It's not. You're not there. You're not at that point because somebody's gonna tell them down the road.
Yeah.
So,
That's tough.
like I say, this is a conversation that we're gonna have maybe next episode or the episode after that because I want you guys to really think about that and I want you guys to hit up our socials and give us your response and let us know how you feel about that
Well, let's
situation.
talk about it.
Well, I want to talk about it after the fact because I
Yeah.
want to hear what they got to say.
Right.
That's why I want to
I'm gonna
wait.
tell you what I
You
gotta
guys
say.
have to say.
I think that if you're over a certain age, okay, and you have got nothing out of you trying to be an artist, you need to hang your gloves. Hang the gloves, just focus on other things, you wasting your time, dude. You might have talent, but if you haven't gotten anywhere with it, hang up the gloves.
Yeah, but
Go to work.
But
Take your ass to
when
work.
do you-
that's the question.
If you
When?
don't know when to hang up the gloves,
Because some people don't, man. I know people out there right now that's 50 years old that think they can still be a rapper, man. You've been doing this since you was 18.
Look, as a DJ, as a local DJ, there are a lot of local rappers that either just do not even present music to me anymore, just totally avoid me. And there are those that, that are cool with me because I'm the type of DJ that my thing is if in the first 30 seconds of a song,
Yeah,
I'm not
you need that
interested,
first
you don't
30
catch my
seconds.
interest. Or the first verse.
Yep.
If you don't catch my interest, it's a dump. It's
Yeah.
a dump. Because I'm not the one that's
Yeah.
gonna blow you up. It's the person that, oh shit. Sorry, my vibrator.
Oh, jeez.
Phone, my phone.
And he's not even drinking.
So, I'm straight up. Like if you give me music, I'm gonna be straight up and I'm gonna,
Yeah, you gotta
I'm
you
not gonna
gotta listen
sugarcoat
to it
it.
before
I'm not
you
gonna
play
tell
it.
you it's trash, but I'm gonna tell you, yo, take it back to the lab. And like
But some people feel like, oh man, some people need to hear that harsh reality and be like, listen, this ain't never gonna make it.
I think it's easier these days to get music going. And the thing is, you have to have a formula. As a DJ, if you want me to play your song, make sure it has a hot beat, a good hook. The rest of it, these days, when it comes to hip hop, it's really not really relevant.
You know why?
Most rappers out there can't really rap.
So
Okay.
you know why I feel like it's easier nowadays to get music out there is because
Digital.
they're not. Well, it's digital. But they're not really talking about anything.
Right.
They're
So
not,
the
like,
hook
they-
and the beat. You give me a good hook, a good beat,
Yeah.
man, and I can play it.
Like who was
It's
that?
just-
Chief Keef. I don't know if this is the
I
right
can.
one.
I can. Most of the music nowadays, I can't understand what
Yeah.
the hell they're saying.
Gold all in my watch. Yeah, like the stuff like you just.
Well, that's actually another dude.
Yeah, like I say, I don't know if that's who it is or.
And,
yeah.
you know-
Honestly, Chief Keef's best song to me was "Love Sosa," and I felt like that was the only song that he talked about anything, and then everything else was.
But he
like,
didn't. Did you understand half the shit he was saying? No.
No, you're right.
Right.
I probably can't even recite a full
So
verse.
you liked it because you understood that little part where he
It's
like
that
that little
hook.
hook.
Yeah, that hook.
And the beat was cool.
Yeah.
So that's my point. Right now in 2020, you want to put a song out, make sure it has a good beat and a good hook. The rest, really, just make, try your best at
Yeah.
it making sense. That's it.
Like I say, man, that
know?
is a conversation we do want you guys to be a part of. So make sure you comment on our socials and let us know how you feel because there are people that's out there that probably need to hear this.
Yeah.
'Cause,
You'll be 60 years old, so trying to be a rapper.
yeah, listen, sometimes it's time to call it a day
Yeah.
and figure out your next your next move, and that's okay to figure out your next move.
Of
It's not a
course.
bad thing. It's if you want to still keep doing this as a hobby instead of trying to make it your career.
And there are many guys out there. Actually, there's a whole underground scene of unsigned artists that really don't care about being signed. They're
They're just
regular
doing
dudes
it.
at work. But you go on, SoundCloud, you go on YouTube, and you can find their work. And
Yeah,
these dudes
'cause-
could flow. I mean, but they're in their 40s. These are not dudes that are gonna try to get a record deal right now, but they could rap.
They doing it because they love it. They
Yeah,
don't do it
and
because
there's
they
no
want it
hook.
to make
It's
them money.
no hook type shit. It's just freestyle type stuff on a beat, But these are dudes that have realized, hey, even though I got talent, I didn't have that opportunity to get signed. So I'm still gonna do it because of the love of it.
Yeah.
So
You gotta love what you do, man. If you love what you do, man, keep doing it. Now, I'm not telling you to keep doing it if you're gonna be in the poorhouse trying to make your rap career come through. But if you feel like, man, I could go out and carry a job and then come home and do this as my hobby,
Yeah.
to go ahead and do it, man. Never stop doing what you love, because if you do that, man, you kind of die inside. You gotta love what you do.
of course.
It's mainly just if you're putting everything in your life aside,
Yeah,
Just for
exactly,
that.
exactly.
when is the right time to stop if it's not going to happen? Or that's
That you summed it up correctly. That, like, if you putting everything aside in your life to make this happen and it's not doing it, when do you decide to stop?
and if you're a friend of someone who is doing that and you see that they are kind of ruining their lives just for one dream that they're probably not going to make, unfortunately, I mean, what do you do?
Yeah, that's a tough question, especially in the urban community, because because the minute you tell somebody in the urban community that they can't rap, you automatically become a hater. Oh, you just hating on me. You just hating, and that's how they think. And it's
No, I'm trying to save you a whole lot of time.
yeah. Sometimes they need it to be put to them more delicately, but sometimes they gotta just get slapped in the face and be like, "Hey, man, you suck.
up.
You absolutely suck. Let's stop doing this. Let's stop pressuring putting it
and
on yourself
funny,
like that."
The funny thing is that, the reality about 2020 right now is that you can literally, with a laptop, the right programming, the right knowledge about the program software that you're using, you could put a track together, like literally in your bedroom.
Yeah, that's
You
true.
know? It doesn't matter if you can sing or not. There are there are filters out there. You can filter out voices. I don't sing. My voice is garbage, but there are filters out there that I can make myself sing like
that
Celine
auto tune,
Dion.
man. Look at T-Pain, but T-Pain actually got a good voice without the auto tune. I heard him sing.
Man,
before-
T-Pain can't sing, man. He got
I'm
no
telling
damn
you, man.
voice.
He got a song out there. It's just
Man.
him.
What
I'm
do you
not-
guys think? Can T-Pain sing or not?
No, T-Pain
We
can't
want to know
sing,
what you
man.
think.
That's true. We do want to know what you think.
T-Pain is a good musician. He, plays a lot of instruments and stuff, but he's not no damn singer. Sing. I'm talking about singing.
Oh, you talking about like
can't
old school
sing.
doo wop?
You
You
can't
want like
sing,
that
man.
R&B sing that that R.
Singing
Kelly
is singing,
Man.
and you're
Ron
either good or
Isley.
you're not good. I
That's
mean,
true.
They're singing.
At one point in time,
and
I
they're
thought I could sing,
singing.
and then I actually heard myself like after I like recorded myself, and I was like, "Yeah, man, you probably should just stop."
I've never
Stop
been
with-
more heartbroken in my life when I heard myself sing.
You can't sing.
I know I can't sing. All right, man. So, you know what? You get a little bit like every time you bring it up, because I think everybody in their life always feels like, let me go ahead and try out a singing career. It might be for 5 minutes. It might be for 5 years.
Why is that? Does it look easy?
You know
to
what
everybody?
honestly, what I think it
the
is.
glam and the fame, like all I do is sing a song, I get millions of dollars.
So
That's
thi-
what I was thinking.
So this is how I feel about it. I feel like because we sing along with songs so much, and we
Yeah.
kind of hear the song more than we hear our own voices.
Yeah.
We feel like, oh man, I'm actually doing it, man. I'm doing it, and then you actually go to sing that song without that that overlay of the actual
it's
song.
called
and it's-
karaoke.
And
It's,
then-
and it's
and then
garbage. And
there
it's
are-
like, oh my god, I
Wow.
shouldn't have
Well,
done that.
wait. And
Terrible.
then there are those people that can actually sing really good, but they
And-
think they're horrible and they can't, and they're
That's
shy
true.
about it.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, hey, sing, try it, man. You sound really good. Oh no, I'm horrible. Like artists, man. I know a dude, man, that this guy could draw, but his thing is drawing portraits like of you. Like you sit there and he'll
Yeah.
draw you. Bro, this guy has so much talent, right? But then he thinks he's horrible, and he doesn't like to do it because he thinks he's horrible, and but it's awesome. I mean, I've seen paintings that he's done, drawings that he's done,
Yeah.
that are incredible, but he thinks they don't look good. It's weird.
You know what? And that's I think that's the whole point of being an artist, because you, as an artist, you are your biggest critic. You know, you will always think, and I guess it goes to basically whatever you do, like
Any profession or
No,
any
in his
job you
mind,
have.
and
Think
it's
about
no
it.
joke. Like in his mind, he thinks he's horrible.
I want you to think about it this way: how many times have you ran into somebody and was like, "Oh man, you look so good. You've lost so much weight," but you didn't feel like you've lost any weight, or you don't feel like you've changed at all. But that person on the outside looking in is like letting you know, "Hey man, you know, yeah, you have that degree of you don't believe them. You think they're just putting you on and trying to, you know, being sarcastic or whatever." And then it's that like maybe it is. Maybe I am doing something, but you know that goes to every aspect of what you do. Like you're your biggest critic. You're your biggest critic. You will never think you're doing as well as you are, and that's a good thing because that strives you to be the best you can be. And that's what everybody should strive to be, is the best they can be. The person that doesn't want to
Yeah,
be
but
anything.
he thinks he's so horrible that he looks at a paint, the drawing of his, and it's like me drawing. He looks at it as if it's just a stick man that he drew. Like he doesn't see how incredible his work is. You know,
Yeah, I can
he
understand that.
hides it. He doesn't even like showing it to people because he thinks it's so horrible.
I honestly, I
But then again,
I
his
get what
brother,
he's-
it's a weird family because then again, his brother's he's 36, 37 years old, and he has like a food phobia thing, and all he's eaten his whole life is bread and cheese. He says that, I was at his house a long time ago, and he opened his fridge. He was at his mom's house. He opened his fridge, and there was a open can of peas, right? And when he opened the fridge, the can fell out, and all the speed, it all spilled on the floor. And this dude started gagging, he threw up all over the place. Because just the sight of food, like he has a food phobia. And all he can eat is bread, cheese, and milk. And water, obviously, one time he went on a date, right? He was trying to work on himself on getting over this food phobia. And he said, "Man, I ordered pizza." So I was like, "It's coming to the table." Yeah, he's on a date, and he called me. Yeah, he called me I think he went to the
It just
bathroom. I
sounded
guess.
like he was ordering like drugs. And
No,
he didn't
because
want
I
nobody
talked to him, and I
find
was
out,
like, "Dude, what the
hey
fuck?"
man, I just ordered a pizza.
No, I
on
talked
its
to
way.
him
It's on
before
its
that. I
way.
had been talking to him, like, "Dude, what the fuck you mean you only eat bread and cheese?" Yeah, that's all
I can
eat."
still leave. I
So
haven't
then,
paid yet.
I try to talk to him and be like, "Yo, man, you gotta like check yourself, man. You're 30-some years old." So he went on a date, right? And on that date, he pushed himself to order pizza and a soda, Coca-Cola. He's like a phobia, like crazy phobia. So he called me, "Yo, I ordered a pizza. I'm gonna try it for the first time today." I'm like, dude, you've never had a pizza.
Wow.
That is actually
Never.
like
Not a burger,
really,
nothing.
Really interesting.
Actually,
because
his name is Shay. No bullshit. His name is Shay.
that's really
Yeah.
interesting. But I could.
My
believe-
brother knows him.
I could
Yeah.
honestly believe that because you know what? I'm gonna admit this. When I was younger, I had a little streak of bully in me. I did.
Actually,
I'm not.
you know what his nickname is? Is Cheddar Bob. We call him Cheddar Bob.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had a little streak of bully in me, like where I was that kid that was just making fun of people and stuff like that. And yeah, it doesn't look like that now. But as you grow up, if you don't realize, man, because at that time, as a kid, you feel like everybody is exactly the same. They go through the same situations. So that's what's in your mentality until you grow up and realize like people live different lives and they go through different things. So now like I'm more sensitive to like I don't like to see anybody get made fun of.
Oh,
It actually in my heart it hurts me. It really does. Like because I remember when I was in school, I was in summer school, and I
picked on.
it wasn't me. It was honestly a friend of mine, and nobody would talk to him because he was a fat kid, and he was severely overweight. And at the time, like I talked to anybody. I didn't care, and he wasn't one of the people I picked on. But now that I think of it, it's like, man, you don't know how close to the edge some of these kids or some of these people are when you start making fun of them. And it's like, man, you don't know what that person is going through, and you're compounding that issue. And we as a people, we should not do that. because, like I say, nobody knows what you're going through, and you don't know
course.
exactly what somebody else is going through.
You want to know something was cool that now you know what's, as an adult, you know what's right, what's wrong. But, as a teenager, even in junior high, 10, 12 years old, I've always been bigger than all the other kids in class, right? I was never a bully. I was actually always the type of kid to befriend the kids that would get picked on, right? So, but I was aggressive towards bullies. I was that type of dude that I would look out to. Oh, you think you hot, huh?
Yeah.
You want to pick on this kid? Well, guess what? He's my friend. What you gonna do now? I was that type of dude, But and always up for a good fight. As a kid, I always was up for a good couple rounds,
I was always smaller than everyone growing up.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
So
I got made fun of by
were you
kids that were older than me.
small,
but
because I could see you being like a kind of tall kid.
I was never tall. No, honestly, until I think I noticed it when I was like a junior in high school. Yeah, I everything growing up, I was always late.
Like,
and everything.
I'm not a
But
tall
I was
guy at all.
I was short. I was always real skinny, and I mean, I
was
wanted to be
always
cool,
fat.
and I tried hard, a little too hard.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, people that were cooler than me would put me down, and then I would do the same to the other kids, like kids that I thought were less cool than me, and it was horrible.
I hit
Sucks.
Miami. We moved to Miami when I was like 10. Okay, so around that age is when you start getting exposed to really stupid shit, and you have to make a decision. Either I'm going to go this way, oh shit, or that way, which is in like okay. So the school I went to at that time was even as 10, 12, 11 years old or whatever. There were kids that were in full-blown gangs, like little gangs and shit, right? But I've always been the type. I've always been very independent, especially when it comes to crews or who I hang out with. You're not gonna tell me what the fuck to do. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
type
you're
of shit. Even as a kid, I had my little clique, but we were just friends. My brother, my best friend that I grew up with. It was always us three, up and down, and we would get approached all the time with little gangs, little cliques in the school. Oh, you're gonna join my crew, man. So I was the type of kid, 12 years old. Nah, I'm not gonna join your gang, but if you want to fight, we could fight. Meet me out back. If that's what it is, if you want to fight, we could fight. But I'm not joining no gang. If I'm gonna get in trouble, I'm gonna do it by myself. So that was always been my mentality. Yeah, I think people that join gangs are cowards. If I'm gonna be bad and I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna get in trouble by myself, so nobody else could sit and chow me. I'm gonna
never
do it by
dealt with
myself.
that when I was growing up, and
Oh,
at
yeah.
least that I didn't hear about.
So once Jake's done, I'm gonna jump in.
No,
on
you're
that.
fine. I'm done.
No. Go ahead.
I never dealt with that growing up. At least I never heard about it. I'm done.
So, when you said people that join gangs are cowards, you know what? I believe it.
You join it because you want people to have your back.
Honestly, and maybe this is me just watching too much television, watching too much. There are people that join gangs because it's a sense of family to them, but it always turns out wrong. So I like I say, I don't want to judge somebody for what they do because I don't know the life you live.
No,
I don't
I'm
know
not judging someone. I'm just telling you
I'm not saying you're judging
my
anybody.
mentality behind the whole thing.
That's how you feel.
The way where I grew up, it was not all easy and like, let's walk home. No, you walk home when you're by yourself.
Yeah.
Somebody's gonna do something to you.
Yeah.
And this kid's your age.
Yeah.
That'll mess around with you. Yeah. So, but I was always the kid. The way I grew up was that not to be afraid of a ass whooping.
Yeah.
If you get caught up and you're around the wrong place, either you're gonna whip somebody's ass or somebody's gonna whip your ass.
You're talking about gangs and when you're little. Like I had an experience when I was younger. I was by myself. I was walking home from school. This, I know he wasn't an adult. He was a teenager, but I was probably 11 or 12. And he walks up on me and he's like, "Who you with?" And me, I'm super naive at the time. I didn't know what he meant. So I was like, "I'm by myself."
Right.
And then he was like, "Oh, okay." And then he walked off. And it wasn't until I got up to my cousin, and my cousin asked me, "Hey, man, what did that dude say to you?" I was like, "Man, he just asked me who I was with." He was like, "Oh, man, that dude, he run with the buds."
Right.
So if I would have said the wrong thing to him, I could have lost my life that day. but I was so naive to my surroundings and the situation that I just basically said,
But that's what I learned that early.
I'm by myself.
I learned that early. When we first moved down to Miami, we lived in Carol City, which at that time there were a lot of Jamaicans, a lot of Bahamians. Well, not even Carol City, was it? 183rd, 441. I used to go to
Fort Lauderdale, Carol City.
No, I used to live. We moved to what I forgot the damn middle school I went to. Anyway, that area was a lot of Jamaicans, a lot of Bahamians. So the problem is that you had to be quick with it. Oh, who you with? Nobody. Like right off the get go. At that time I was in junior high. My brother was in elementary, so I was basically walking to school by myself. But as a kid, early I learned that when people approach you, people start messing with you. If you don't claim nothing, don't claim nothing. And I was never interested in joining any clique or
Yeah.
To me, that was survival. But if you want to fight, we could fight.
I was never afraid.
I'll catch an ass whooping.
Yeah.
And
I was never afraid to fight.
Yeah, I was never afraid.
I
got my ass whooped a lot.
I was afraid to fight.
I was afraid to lose.
No, I got my ass whooped a lot.
There you go. I guess I wasn't afraid to fight, but I was definitely afraid to lose.
The person that's afraid to get into a fight, I'm more afraid of that person than the person that's cocky coming into a fight. Because that person that's cocky, like, he knows, like, so he's downplay or he's underestimating his opponent. But that person that's scared to fight, man, that dude is fighting for his life. That's all he knows. That's all he knows. He's fighting for his life. He's gonna do some unpredictable stuff. That's just how I feel about that.
I was afraid to fight because I was afraid to lose.
No,
because of the humiliation. I mean, I dealt with humiliation.
It wasn't a humiliation. I just didn't want to get beat up.
It's probably the size thing also, because I always knew even 12 years old, I always knew that I had size over most of the kids around me, and I used that to my advantage.
It was the potential humiliation. If I got in a fight with anyone, it was all eyes on who's going to win, and whoever loses,
in high school, in high school, 11th grade, I was wrestling 220 in 11th grade. So, that, and I wrestled in high school. I did. Because at that age, I was going through that period where I actually liked confrontation. I wouldn't search it out, but if so to let that out, I discovered wrestling. And man, I used to wrestle 220. I loved it. I used to like to fight, but
that's cool.
Not to look for fighting, but if it came my way, I would jump right in. Obviously, I'm not like that anymore, but
I never saw
it's
any
just the
fights in high school.
environment.
No one wanted to fight anymore.
Now the environment I grew up, you either was a victim or you were not a victim.
So when I was in high school, it was more so, it was a fight at least like once every month. It wasn't like every day it's a fight. It's once every month we saw a fight.
We heard about a fight once every month though.
I don't know. I guess I was just right place at the right time, or I just positioned myself to be close to the fights because those were some good fights. Like those are some I remember there was this fight and there was this kid was probably like 6'7", like 400 pounds. He was one of those kids that he was big, but he was timid. And then there was this guy, probably 5'8", 150, all cock diesel, and he's picking on this bigger kid because he felt like this bigger kid was not gonna handle him the way he did. But when it came down to him, because he looked like that kid that, he goes to school, he plays games, he doesn't have a lot of friends. Mm-hmm. This kid, man, when the fight happened, this little kid got a couple licks in, but then the animal in this bigger kid came out, and he was fighting to survive, and he put a whooping on this dude, and I'm sitting there like, man, you going to jail.
And let me clarify some stuff.
Fights are so stupid.
At that time, I didn't know how to fight. I didn't know anything about fighting. I just used my weight to my advantage.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons I got into the wrestling team is to learn. And I learned a lot, man. I could fold you up.
Had to defend yourself,
Oh,
just
yeah.
in case you were.
Oh yeah.
What was your sport in not wrestling? What was your sport in high school, Jake?
My sport in high school.
Or what was your thing in high school?
I didn't play any sports in high school. But when I was growing up, I did taekwondo when I was growing up.
You know what? I could see that. I could really see you doing like some sort of martial arts.
Yeah.
And it's just it's not about like the way you look. It's more so about the way you carry yourself. Like like if worse comes to worse, I can defend myself, but I'm not going out looking for a fight type
Right.
deal. So yeah, I
That's
could see the
key.
whole martial arts thing in
Yeah.
you.
I mean, I think I can run a little faster than my opponents, unless I was fighting your brother.
And that was my problem.
Next thing you
as a
know,
teenager.
2 months later,
That was the problem as a teenager. You can't outrun these people. You got to confront them.
No,
you know the funny thing about it is when I got that report, everybody was like, "Man, that was the slowest race I've ever seen." But you know, you hear it from Jake and my brother. This had to been like a 10-second race. No, everybody's like, "Man, this race was like a minute and a half."
whatever. We were flying.
It was the most like just to hear both stories and then being on the outside looking in and both of these stories being told to me. I'm like, that's not what anybody said to me. Like,
Whatever, man.
it was like it was 2 decrepit old men running.
On the street, barefoot. What could go wrong?
Hey,
Everything went
so,
wrong.
So sorry to change the subject.
No, go ahead,
Please
man.
change the subject,
check
please.
this out. Check this out. So I like to eat. I know you guys like to eat.
Yes.
Okay. Once you get over a certain age, you kind of try to keep up with trends.
It's an addiction.
Trends.
I
I
battle
keep up
every
with
day.
food trends. So check this out. The most delicious. Just picture it. One of the most.
First of all,
delicious
before you
things-
even continue, I just like the way you just started to describe what was about
because
to be
you see, I'm
described.
sitting here and I'm looking at the time, and I know it's done, and I can't go and get what I wanted to get to eat today. Check this out. There's something now, a trend going on. It's not a new thing. It's a new thing for us because we're on the East Coast, but in LA, in Mexico, this is So I discovered tacos like 2 or 3 years ago. The real stuff. No,
Okay,
not Taco
okay.
Bell.
Yeah, no.
I
talking
never
taco truck
no,
tacos.
No, yeah. See, I never liked Mexican food because I've always had stuff like Taco Bell and Chili's and Applebee's. Restaurant American Mexican food. So I always avoided Mexican food because I thought that was it. But no, a few years ago I discovered. I think it was Paul that took me to a taco truck for the first time.
Oh my
Yeah,
God. Where have you
over
been?
by Landing Tire, 15th area.
Atlantic.
Is it Landing Tire? The tire place.
Oh, you talking about Ticolo?
Well,
right by,
you know
like,
where
the
it
Walgreens
splits?
or the
No,
C-
yeah, but where it splits, you stay on your left, on your right hand side.
Yeah.
There's a taco. Anyway, I discovered that like 3 or 4 years ago, and then after that, I love Mexican food like tacos and stuff like that. But they're your regular your normal taco that you always get with the and the meat and the stuff. Well, there's another type of taco that the East Coast has discovered. Yeah, and this has been going on the West Coast, but it just hit the East Coast a few months ago. So it's called birra, taco de birra. Okay, so it's picture a quesadilla, right, with meat in it, cheese and meat on a flat top, right? But then they make like a consomme off the meat that's cooked down and boiled down. Well, the juice, the soup that's left over, the consomme,
Yeah.
they serve that separately so you could dip your tacos in it. Imagine that shit.
That sounds wonderful.
Your cheesy grilled tacos with meat in it, but with the soup on the side.
That sounds amazing, to be honest with
So
you. That
there's a
sounds-
place. I'm not gonna
Yep.
mention their name because I'm not gonna promote them on here. There's a place that is making them. Okay,
So
it's a very well known. It's not even a It is a restaurant, but they function as something else.
So you bring up tacos and stuff like that, or in Mexican food. So
I'm gonna look it up so you can see a picture of it. Of what it's all
Thank you.
about. This is
Please
amazing.
my thing that's honestly been a trend for a long time in like that artsy or kind of I don't know what you would call this community. I guess you would call it the foodie community. It's elotes.
Oh,
So the Mexican corn.
Yeah,
So
I was scared
would,
of that.
I would watch people eat
With the
this, and there was
mayonnaise.
so many, videos on Facebook and YouTube
Yeah.
about these guys getting, and then it was something about the combination
Man,
just
that looked
doesn't
like,
sound
it
right.
looked
to
like
me.
a stomach ache. don't
Yeah,
it?
they put a corn on the cob with mayonnaise and
Like
Parmesan cheese
slathered
and
in
all.
mayonnaise.
Yeah, and it's like,
It's not
It's
Parmesan,
delicious.
It's like cotija cheese.
oh, I don't know what kind of cheese it is.
Yeah,
but
it's not
it-
Parmesan,
Joe
it's
put me
cotija
onto
cheese.
it. Joe Dixon put me
so
onto it.
I have
Ooh.
I've yet to try it,
Oh
but
my
like
God.
the more and more I see videos and stuff on it,
Jesus.
it's like, man, I'm gonna have to go
It's
ahead and try
heaven.
this.
It's actually delicious.
Because
Yeah.
my buddy Joel, like, he's always talking. Like, Joel is everything. Like, listen, if a Mexican farted on a taco, he would eat it. That's how like he's deep into that game. That's him all day. Like, he loves that type of food. And honestly, like, he's giving me some of the things that he eats, and it's delicious. It's amazing.
Look, check it out. Check it out. Watch, it's gonna start. Taco de birra.
That's how you know, like,
Look,
we
look,
are
look.
so
Look,
concerned
Taco,
about
look,
food.
Look, look. Check it out. Check it out. Check it out. So that's the consomme, right? Come on, people.
I've never heard of this word consomme, but it's
It sounded
like-
good.
And this lady's showing how to make it. Look. You see?
So basically, it's like a
the leftover
a fried
liquid
ta-
after you cook stuff in the pan.
Well, you boil them. You cook the meat off,
Yeah.
seasoned meat.
Okay,
So that'll create a soup, a consomme,
gotcha.
right?
Consomme.
So
yeah,
they
okay.
take the meat
Never
out,
heard
they
it.
shred it, put it between a tortilla with cheese, and then they grill it. You see?
Okay.
You see it? So
Yeah.
they grill it, and then that soup is served in a separate bowl, so you could dip the grilled taco.
Mhm. I get it.
Man,
That's-
this is
Sounds awesome.
That
I'm
does
gonna
sound-
use
that's-
that word from now on.
Look,
Consomme.
word.
Look, check it out. Look. You see? I've been trying to get this for the past 2 or 3 weeks. I know where they
So,
sell it.
I guess
But once they run out, and that's it. They don't
that
have
would be
anymore.
a consomme, or that would be called an au jus.
Look. Yeah, an au jus. That's what it is.
Basically,
Look, you see how you?
Yeah,
A taco au jus. That's,
Yeah,
that's
okay.
what it is.
That's Fat Boy
Yeah.
Paradise right there.
that looks.
Look at this, dude.
I don't like how deep your voice.
Man.
Look at this. Look at this.
Hey man, this is. Do you know what it is? You know what I'm talking about? Oh my god! Come look. Check it out.
It's
Look, so
it's
it's-
basically
you
an
see?
au jus. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So
an au
the
jus.
meat. Wait, we got to start from the beginning. So you see, it starts out like
You're
that,
talking about
right?
Fat
You
Boy
boil off the
Paradise.
meat
It's like
for,
he
like,
is
a bunch
in
of hours.
heaven right
Yeah.
now.
Right,
Which
with
the more and more I
seasonings
look
and
at it,
cheese
it
and
looks
all that
delicious. It does.
then-
Yeah, of course it does.
After a
But
few
like,
hours,
I don't
you
know how
You
engulfed I
can
would
dip your
get into.
tacos in anything. You dip your hamburgers in anything. Dip your hamburgers in au jus.
So like,
Try
if
that.
if I'm going after a taco, I'm
But
going after
the
like a
actual
corn
meat,
tortilla taco,
you shred it up.
like where it's flaky and
Okay.
there's not a lot of tortilla. It's more.
Let's talk about that for a second. I prefer flour, and
grill
I'll
it
tell
on.
you exactly
Really?
why.
Yeah, I want to know why you prefer.
I don't like.
quesadilla.
I like the
And then the
taste
way
of
you
corn
eat it,
tortillas,
once it's all grilled and stuff,
but I don't like how
you
they're.
either you dunk
flaky.
it in the soup.
Yeah, they
it-
break and they get soggy and it's terrible. I
So
don't like it.
my thing with a
over it.
corn tortilla is it forces you to eat that taco right now.
When they give
It's
you
a-
two
So-
corn tortillas, I know some people are against it. I guess it's not traditional Mexican. What I don't care.
Two
Well, I
tortillas?
heard
Two corn
traditional Mexican
tortillas
isn't
is-
even tacos. They would get like the
That's true.
tortillas and they
Yeah.
would rip it,
Look, man,
and they would use
I
the
hate
tortilla as like utensils.
I used to hate tortillas. I used to hate tortillas until I tried homemade fresh tortillas.
Yeah,
Homemade, like made right there, right before you eat them. Oh my god!
there's
Now I see why Mexicans love tortillas.
Yeah, there's a Mexican place in New York that is, I think it's owned by a friend of Radimus,
Oh, really?
and best
Radimus
corn
knows everybody.
Yeah, best corn tortillas I have ever had.
Yeah.
Ever. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
That
They didn't
next
tear
week,
apart when you
actually,
picked
you
up the
know,
taco.
next show next week, but we have to go early because they run out. I know they run out about 10 in the morning.
So
11
somebody's
in the
gonna
morning.
have to stop and get tacos.
Right. So we have to go out there, grab some, so we can show everybody what we're talking about. Because the thing is, in the Latin community, like this is spread. Everybody knows about it. But in the American, the regular, American dudes that like food, they don't know about this. It'll be months till they really find out about this.
See, I'm an underground guy. I like the underground restaurants.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I will try all of them because I want to taste that flavor.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I look for the little hole in the wall restaurants. Like there used to be this Haitian restaurant in
Oh, yeah.
in Onico
Yeah.
called Josie's. Probably the best Haitian
They're still
food.
there, aren't they?
No, man, they closed down a while ago. Probably the best.
No, they
Creole
reopened in the
food.
mall. They did reopen. They closed that spot down, but they reopened in the mall.
Okay, so probably
Yeah,
the
and then they
best
closed down
Creole food that you like.
Yeah.
If you don't like Creole food, you need to try it.
Yeah.
Just try it, and you'll be like, it's because you know what? I was at one point in time I was closed minded to food, and then I just realized, man, food is heaven.
Yeah.
Like if you pay attention to it, right? Food is really
You
like,
can learn a
it's
lot about a
elaborate.
culture by trying their food.
Yeah, you can learn a lot about anybody.
Anyone, yeah,
Sit
a
down
person.
and eat with
Yeah.
somebody.
Yeah. I know a guy from he's actually a really good friend of mine. Ethiopia. He had a bar down here. That's how we met.
Emmanuel.
Emmanuel. You
Yeah,
know
I
Emmanuel.
remember Emmanuel.
And let me tell you, one time he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna cook for you, my wife." Blah, blah, blah. I was like, "Okay, I'll come over." He wanted me to show. He wanted to learn. He wanted me to see his culture, and so I went over his house, and one of their like big dishes, their flagship. You know how every country has their like Haitians have. What's their plate? I forget what it's called.
They got like I don't know what the place called, but their biggest thing is like griot.
Griot.
Yeah,
That's their
griot.
plate.
It's like fried pork.
Yeah, that's their plate.
Oh man, it's so good.
So
Like,
the
amazing.
Ethiopians, they have
Keep
this.
talking dirty.
Yeah, Ethiopians have this thing that they make. It's like chopped up raw beef. Literally, it's raw beef, and it's chopped up with like different condiments, like hot peppers and seasonings and stuff. And you eat it with this like flatbread that they make, and you eat it with your hand. And it's out of for the communal plate. It's like that's how they serve the food.
Yeah.
It's a
It's
tray.
a family plate.
tray, and they put all the food there, and everybody sits around it, and with your hands you break off a piece of bread I forget what the bread is called, but and you eat it.
Yeah.
That's how they eat. But it's raw beef, and he was like, "Try it." I'm like, "Dude, it's raw freaking beef. I'm not gonna put that shit in my mouth. Cook it first." No, it's traditional. I tried it, and I had to like close my eyes and not see the actual red meat and shit. But yeah. You
I would
learn a
try
lot.
it.
You learn a lot from, and the reason,
beef.
the thing
I'm
is,
in.
the key. He was telling me that the reason why it's eaten like that and it's okay in their cultures because normally when this dish would be served, the history behind it is that that's a dish that would be served right after a slaughtering of an animal. So the meat will be fresh, like fresh. It's not something that from defrosted beef. This is fresh. But now, nowadays is you get as fresh as you can. But this is the history behind that dish. But anyway, you can learn a lot from
Yeah, you know what?
from their food.
I watch a lot of food shows because everybody knows I cook. I try to chef it up, and I mainly do Caribbean food. But I'm such a food avid. I don't know what that word I'm trying to say is, but I'm avid. Well, I love food. I love trying new food. That's what I mean.
And to me, it's not quantity.
No,
See, I'm a
it's
fat guy,
it's
but
quality.
it's not about quantity. Like I'm really not a buffet person because I
the
waste my.
quality is that.
It's not about quantity for me. It's not. You ain't never seen me pig out. We've been out to eat a lot.
Yeah.
I don't pig out.
Now, when whose mom was that? That was George's mom. They used to make those pinchos. Man, them pinchos was like I would get like 7 or 8 of these things. Like it was just meat and like onions and peppers on a stick. It was basically a shish kebab, but they put this sauce on it that was so amazing that you just wanted to keep eating. Like I would spend like 2/3 of what I made that night on pinchos.
Nice. Right on.
It's crazy, man. It's
I miss the way my mom used to cook. When people get older and they get
try to
into,
remix stuff.
Yeah, no, salt is bad for your high blood pressure and.
Oh, my mom is a big proponent of that.
And
She
we have to eat healthy.
We had skim milk in my house for the longest time growing up, and I hated it.
Listen, you know
They
how
wouldn't
long
listen to
skim
me.
milk would be in my house if it came in. Listen, we ain't drinking no skim milk. Like you give me the fattiest milk, like
Nah. But as the years have gone, my mom, man, I love my mom's food. But as the years go by, my mom is older and she's 70, 72. So as the years have passed, she's kind of cut back on all kinds of shit, on salt, on on the oil, on and that's what gives the food that
Yeah.
And
Salt and butter,
and
baby.
sometimes, like
Love
when
it.
she cooks, like once
I
in a
use a
while,
lot of butter.
like once in a while on Sunday, she'll call us up. Hey, I cook. Come pick up because my mom likes to cook. Even though she lives alone, she still likes to do it once in a while for the whole family to go pick up. Not to come sit at her table and eat. No, you come pick up. I got food for you guys for each.
Yeah,
you know,
pick it
my
up
mom,
and leave.
my sister, my brother. Pick it up and leave. But like sometimes I call up my brother. Hey, you picked up the food from mom's house? Yeah. What you think? Man, she's missing salt.
And that's my mom too.
Yeah,
She do the same thing.
she's cutting back because we have to eat healthy. But man, I wish she would go back
I think
to
that's just a mom trait as they get older. Because
Yeah.
my mom is always forever like she could see me now and then come back 5 minutes later and she's gonna ask me the same thing. What you doing with your weight?
Oh, my mom always has something to say.
Like
she's
the same
a
thing I was
criticizing
doing with
machine.
it when you came here last time.
She's a criticizing machine. Yesterday she calls me. What you doing? I'm just getting back home from Ocala, huh? Yes. You got another dog, didn't you? Yes.
Yeah.
She criticizes everything I do. Oh my God. I remember when I bought my house. You bought a house, but why did you have to buy it over there? What the hell? Because I wanted to.
Yeah.
Don't you think that's too far for me to drive up there? It's like nothing is good enough, It's always. But I love her like that. She's all right. She keeps me on my toes.
Yeah.
My mom did like the same thing one time. I'll never forget it. She makes amazing lasagna, and
Ooh, I love a good lasagna.
Yeah, my
who
mom's
doesn't?
good. She makes good.
My mom makes an amazing lasagna, and one time she made lasagna with whole wheat noodles,
Oh Jesus! My mom
just to
tried
be a
that.
little healthier, just
She
And
ruined it.
my brother was coming over, and I don't think I was living. I must have been living there still because I was at home and she was cooking and she's making it, and my mom just can't keep a secret when it's fun like that. So she's in the kitchen, I'm watching TV, and she's like, "Okay, I got to tell you something. You can't tell Michael. Michael is my older brother."
You know what? I can picture your mom doing it too.
I know.
Like I can see your
I
mom
know.
doing that.
She's like, "Okay, I got to tell you something, but you can't tell Michael." And I was like, "I won't." She's like, "I'm making lasagna with whole wheat noodles." And I was like, "Okay." I'm not picky eater anymore. Like I used to be the most picky kid in the entire family. I used to get made fun of, but I eat more than everyone. So I'm going to make fun of everyone in my family.
Yeah.
Anyways, so we're eating the lasagna at dinner time, and my mom just could not help it. She
couldn't
couldn't
hold water.
stop herself. She looks at my brother, and she's like, "So I changed something. Can you tell what it is?" And my brother said it. Whole wheat noodles.
My mom tried that one time.
He knew. I don't know how he knew, but he knew.
And on my way from picking up what the tray she made for my family, everybody picked up the tray. As I leave her house and I'm driving home, right? She calls me because she tried it. Finally, she did it with whole wheat, noodles. She calls me up. I don't think you're gonna like the lasagna. I just had a piece and it didn't come out too good. So I'm like, okay. She didn't give me heads up that she had used. So I get home and I cut it open. I'm like, what the hell is this? But she had already given me a heads up. Actually, she made lasagna a couple weeks ago, right? And you know how I was saying how she switched up how she cooks?
Yeah.
Lasagna, beef,
Yep.
ground beef. No. Ground beef is unhealthy, according to my mom.
She put the turkey,
She
ground turkey
uses-
in it.
No, she's done that before. No, it's chicken, shredded chicken.
Okay.
She cooks
Oh,
the
that's
chicken and she. But
I
yeah,
actually like the
but come
ground
on,
turkey.
man.
Still red sauce?
Yeah,
Okay.
sauce and
Huh.
I
she
like-
cut back on the
fine.
ricotta because she says it's too fatty or whatever.
Honestly, I like
Yeah.
ground turkey because my mom did the same thing when she started doing lasagna and stuff. She was, trying to put us on a healthier path. She started using like ground turkey with her lasagna or her spaghetti or anything that required ground beef. Like she was the one that introduced me into turkey meatloaf, and I'm like, better put some beef in that. Like, ooh, what are you doing?
Yeah.
But I ate that turkey meatloaf, and it's pretty good. I'm gonna tell you the one thing that like I was super skeptical about when I was, this is probably 15 years ago when she first did it, even longer, was now everybody knows when you cook collard greens, what do you put in collard greens? You put ham hocks, neck bones, bacon, sausage.
grease.
Actually,
But my
Yes.
mom decided
turkey wings.
turkey wings, turkey necks.
Yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
what are you
Yeah, but
what are you doing?
I don't know how to cook greens,
didn't
but
know.
the best.
But this is like the
greens-
pre-made smoked turkey wings
Yeah,
and turkey
yeah,
necks and stuff
yeah.
like that.
The best, actually, I was gonna bring that up. A couple weeks ago, my brother and I we went to Mother's Day weekend. That Saturday, we went up to get some earrings
That was
for his
last
wife.
weekend.
Yeah, actually, yeah, last weekend. So we are the type of people when we are in a new area. I go on Yelp, but I'm looking for that little mom and pop spot. You know,
Yeah.
that's where you get the best food. So I run into the spot that was like 2 miles away from where we were at. Mama D's something, right?
You know what?
In
I
San
know what
Pete.
you're talking about.
San Pete by the Church's Chicken.
Yep, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's a little barbecue type spot. Well, anyway, I went there. I got the barbecue sandwich, and I got the greens. The barbecue sandwich, the greens, and the mac and cheese. Man, these are the best greens I've ever had, and they're made with smoked turkey wings and turkey necks and stuff.
Yeah, man. There's a science into making greens,
on.
man. Everybody can't make
I
collard
can't make
greens.
it.
I can make collard greens, but I'm like old
can't
school
make it.
traditional collard greens. I put bacon and
Oh,
neck bones. And,
Artery clogger.
oh yeah, man. You are not losing any weight eating my collard
love
greens,
collard
and I'm
greens,
okay with that. Like, if I was trying to make food for you to lose weight, I would make you a salad. But I'm making you some down home collard greens. I'm making you the fattiest food I can make. That's just like how I cook. Like that's what I like. Like I say, just like music, food. If it doesn't make you feel something, yeah. If it doesn't make you feel something, my daughter's just talking to her friends on the phone like we not filming.
She probably didn't think we were anymore.
Like she literally just picked up hello. Like, hey, come on now. But yeah, like I my food needs to make you feel something. Then that's how I feel about all food. If it doesn't make you feel something, what is it doing?
Not today, but I do next time when we talk about food. I want to talk about barbecue.
Yeah, you know what? I didn't even really anticipate talking about food, but
Me neither.
food just came into the whole.
You know,
Thank
I'm
you,
a
DJ
but
Lex,
it
'cause I
came
love
good.
it.
I do like now I'm hungry.
I'm gonna put it to you
I
like
want my
this.
mom's lasagna. I do.
think a way to keep traditions, especially with your kids and stuff like that, is to keep traditions alive when it comes to food. Like this morning, a traditional breakfast dish for Dominicans is plantains, but smashed plantains. It's called mango. Smashed plantains and eggs. That's what I eat. That's what I ate this
really
morning.
good. I love plantains.
And my wife is like, oh, she looks at me. She watches, when I start making it. Oh, how can you eat that?
Yeah.
What the hell you
So
mean?
me,
This
I
is delicious.
when you talk about
So
smashed
easy to make.
plantains,
Yeah.
I think about mofongo. I love mofongo.
Yeah, mofongo is a little drier. Mango is a Dominican thing.
You've never had mofongo?
I've never
Hey,
had
actually,
mofongo.
Oh
after
my
this,
God.
we should
We're
all
going
go.
into it.
We should go to Ralphie's place
No.
and have mofongo.
No.
Have you had the food there?
Nope.
You haven't? Have you had the food
Listen.
at his niece place?
Yes.
You've had it?
It's gross.
No, it's not. Ask
It's-
Paul. Paul eats there all the time.
Nope.
What did you get?
I got ceviche.
Oh no, but you got how the f- you asked for ceviche at a Puerto Rican spot?
He had it on the menu.
No, bro,
I was
come
testing
on, man.
everything. It was not what it was. And you
It's
know
like
what? I'm
it's like
sorry that
ordering
I'm sa-
ceviche.
you
It's
know,
like
I'm
ordering
not
ceviche
sorry.
at a barbecue place just because it got
Listen,
at the menu.
it wasn't ceviche. It was fish and lemon juice. That's
Dude,
what it was. It
That's
was
what
disgusting.
I'm saying. When have you ever known Puerto Ricans to be good at ceviche? You want ceviche, you go to a Peruvian place.
Listen,
Peruvians are the ones that
listen.
have
If
that-
you
that
know
hot
you
ceviche.
can't make a certain dish, don't put it on your menu.
Look, man,
Plain
when
and
you go to
simple.
Ralphie's spot,
don't put it on your menu.
nah. Today he has lechon. You don't know what lechon is, right? Roast pork.
Yeah.
Man, that's what he got Sundays. He always got that.
The
that-
rice wasn't cooked all the way. Yeah, nah, I'm good,
Oh,
man. I'm gonna stay away
Hey,
from that.
I've had my
we don't have to get
experiences.
into-
My experiences. No, that's his opinion. That's his opinion.
Yeah, that's true.
And when he
Yeah.
watches this, he's gonna get in the kitchen and be like, "Yo," he's gonna tell the cook, "Yo, make me some ceviche," and he's gonna see what's up, and he'll fix it because that's how Ralphie is. He's responsible about his food. So the food, the experiences I've had there were good. Paul goes and eats there all the time, at least once a week. You got really
You
good
know
food.
what? Paul is one of those people that, like, if I know I'm gonna go eat with Paul, I know I'm gonna try some new stuff, and that's why that's one of my favorite things. Like, we'll go to like a place that doesn't even look like it should be serving food, and we'll get some
And
of
if
the
it's
best
garbage,
food.
and if it's garbage, he won't eat it.
Yeah.
and he'll say it. He'll say it.
Yeah, it'll be some of the best food, but it'll be like this spot that is so like sketchy that you're just like, what?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna.
But
eat
a lot
that.
of times
but
those
then
are
it's
the
like,
best
oh my
spots.
god, yeah. It's
Like, who got really good food? I just don't like. At first look, you might be like, no, I'm not eating here, or I'm not getting because it's to go stuff. There's a dude. He has a Facebook thing, Brazen Cajun.
Yeah, so
You been out- you been
I
out
know
there?
who he is. I haven't had any of his food.
Yeah,
yet.
if you
I
walk
heard
the-
it's really good though.
Yeah, it's really good because like my girl got what was it, shrimp Alfredo, Yeah, it's on point. It's like homemade. Like you could taste the cream in it. You know?
All right, since we
It's on
getting
point.
so deep into the food, we're just gonna cut that. we got super serious about food just now, and now it got me hungry, honestly. And we still got a couple
I'm gonna go
things
get
that
me
we.
a mofongo after this at Ralphie's spot.
I want to talk about food in some way
Oh yeah,
again.
I do.
next
Like
time.
I feel like we have to now because food just became such a big topic, and it will continue to be a big topic because there's so much variety of food. But there's some other prevalent things that are going on right now that we need to discuss. And DJ Lex, you have some stuff that you wanted to talk about as far as news and politics. So I'm gonna let you go ahead and get on your soapbox and let us know what is going
Well,
on in the world.
Well, I think the biggest thing right now is Obama spoke last night, on the graduation deal. And if you have not listened to it, you should look it up. And, he got a lot of good points on there. And I'm going to just leave it right there. I'm not even going to.
Okay, that's good.
All I'm saying is it's not a waste of time. It's refreshing to to listen to somebody with half a with some sense speaking at this time, right? And he could have gone even deeper. He didn't because he got class like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But he did throw little hints out. To me, what I got out of it was like, you know what? Just hold on. It's not forever. Nothing is forever when it comes to politics, especially. So just hold on. And to me, I got a little inspiration to it's gonna be okay. Just from
You know what?
His little speech.
I didn't hear the speech, but
cool.
in my heart, I feel like it's gonna be okay, just because I need it to be okay. It's not because of anything I've read
there
or
are
anything
powers
that
in
I've
place.
seen, but it's just because in my heart I need it to be okay. So I believe it's gonna be okay.
Yeah. Now, another thing that happened this past week is that the village idiot, okay, is really, really, really fighting the whole thing about his finances being exposed, his taxes and all that. And beyond that, he actually has educated lawyers, okay, in front of the Supreme Court arguing for him, saying that he is untouchable, basically. He's above the law. And these are educated lawyers arguing this. So what happened, in the Civil War, not the Civil War, when we independence, when we gained independence, the whole reason that was fought is so we were fighting against having a king.
Yeah.
There's certain laws in place that say no,
Yes.
you're not, you're not immune. So basically, to keep it simple, his lawyers are arguing, saying that in no way, shape, or form is he to be
Touched.
investigated. He is immune from everything.
So I just want to jump in and say this. The reason he has that sense that he's untouchable, but because we as a people, we've become so complacent and we've forgotten how the country was actually set up. The country was set up that the government was and should be afraid of the people because we put them in the place that they're in. But we've forgotten about that because the government, one, they have this sense and they know, listen, let's give the people, let's give them a little something. Let's give them a little something. They keep taking from the government, and it's like they put these caveats on what they give the people, and it's like you follow this and you get this, or you don't get nothing at all. And then people get to a point where they're so desperate that they need that, and it's like I have to take it. So, and then they just become set in those ways that now they've forgotten that we should never be at a point where we fear the government. The government should always be at a point where they fear what the people can do.
This is the problem that I have with Republicans these days. That being a Republican most of the time stood for that type of person that was against government. Okay, that's what it stood for.
It's supposed to still.
Yeah,
But
it doesn't.
The party has changed. The mentality has changed so much that they don't see this. And you know what the crazy thing is that the village idiot despises. He despises the very people that vote for him. The people that vote for him, the type of people that have his back, and going for him, he despises that type of person. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand what
This
you're
is
saying.
the type of dude that'll walk by the his type of voter. You know that class that you know. Let's put it like this. You know that guy with the big truck and the big rims, with the big hat and the cowboy boots. That's the type of person that the village idiot will see, and he'll be like, "Look at this motherfucker." Yet those are the people that go. You know, they're voting. They are voting against the self-interest because those type of people are not welcome in his club, in his Mar-a-Lago club. You know what I'm saying? That's the type of people that get turned away at the door.
So this is why I'm gonna say this, and this is why those people are who follow him, because Trump made that they gave him a sense that it was okay
But
to
it's
speak.
bullshit.
I'm not saying it's not, but it gave him a sense that it's okay for me to say how I'm feeling.
No, you know what
that's
it is.
why they follow
You know
him.
what it is that this is the thing. Every president out there that you see that has been elected president has run on uniting. Okay, unification. 99% of presidents that have been elected have run on unity. This is basically the first president that's ever ran on divisiveness. Right off the bat. Right off the bat, he's ran on divisiveness. And if you look into different documentaries out there on this whole this presidential, the presidency, this presidency, you've seen that you can clearly see that everything he's ran on has been divisiveness from day one. Even right now with the coronavirus, he's playing that game. He's playing on that book, because you could go out to the store right now and see who's wearing masks. If you're wearing a mask, you're a Democrat. If you're not, you're a Republican. Type deal. So that's there's so much.
So my thing on the mask
divisiveness.
is
That's
I only wear
ridiculous.
masks where they make me wear masks. Like when I go to the hospital, I have to wear a mask, so I put it on. But if I'm going to the grocery store, I don't put a mask on anymore. I stopped doing that because, honestly,
So now you're looked at as a Republican.
you know what? You can look at me however you want.
But
I
you
know
see what I'm
I am.
saying? It's all about
I'm
that play.
I hope I
anti-
don't.
I'm
mean-
anti-establishment as it is. I don't care, because both sides are full of garbage because
Right.
they don't care about people in general unless you are promoting their agenda. That's what their main goal is. If you don't
Right.
support their agenda or their beliefs, you are automatically an enemy. So I will forever be an enemy to them until they start doing right
And
by the people.
you have the concepts of what a Republican used to be. Like you would have been considered a Republican 6 years ago, 6 years back, 10 years back. That's a Republican mentality, But now it's changed, man. It's changed completely. It's crazy the way it's changed, man. Even
I agree. It's changed.
It's
for
changed
sure.
a lot, man.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with that at all. I just how I am is just like, man, each side is just these two, and it's always the higher ups. They're playing a chess game with the people. They're using people as pawns to win a game, and that's not what this was supposed to be. This was supposed to be us bettering ourselves and continuing to move forward. But now, the way things are, I feel like we're taking steps backwards. We're not, because if we come together as a people in whole, we can accomplish so much. But we are so consumed with, battling each other about who's right, who's wrong, which agenda we should push. We can't get ahead, and that's why some countries are starting to overtake us in certain aspects.
Isn't that the idea? To go backwards? By voting for Trump, you want to make America great again, and in that
Well,
sense, going back to
First of all, I'm gonna tell you something
before
about
Obama
that
messed it
term,
up.
that America great again. You know why America is not the America that used to be? Because we are a country of consumers. We're not a country of producers. Okay, we don't make stuff, so we will never be the America we used to be economic wise. Because we are consumers. We're not. Your kid. You teach your kid to be a doctor. You don't teach him to be a carpenter so he can make cabinets. No, you go out and buy cabinets that are made in China.
You know why that is?
You teach a kid to go to work when he's old enough. He or she.
The higher ups make money off us being consumers. So, you know, they import a toilet seat because it's cheaper to import a toilet seat than it is to have a toilet seat
What
that was
made
built
the
in the
United
States. Hold on, let
States
me
was-
get this off. Let me get this off. Because of the kickback they're getting from the toilet seat maker that's overseas. It's not about how much it really costs. It's about what kind of kickback. Oh yeah, I'll let you sell your toilet seats over here if you give me a little something. And of course, you know, big bank is like, yeah, go ahead and sell that toilet seat over here. I don't care. You giving me this much of money? Sell 2 of them toilet seats. And
Look,
that's how it is.
It's all a product of you keep making the wrong decisions as a country, and you know when the shit hits the fan, you got to look at the bigger picture. You know, we love going to Walmart and buying a 50-inch TV for $300, right? We love that.
I do love it.
I
I
love
do
that.
love a good deal.
But you know what created the society we live in right now, as of us being consumers and not producers, is that if that 50-inch TV would be made here in the United States and that worker is charging $20 an hour to be on that line assembling it, you know that TV is going to cost you $1,200 or $1,500 to
Yeah.
buy it. You know, so as a corporation, you have decisions to make, and I totally understand. You're a business, and if you could get labor cheaper, obviously in China, that's where you're going to go do it. You know, and that's what the part where I understand the Republican mentality of, oh no, China this, China that. Yeah, but at the end of the day, it's really the business. You know, you know what happened to General Electric making washers and dryers here in the United States? You know, what happened to that? Well, you know, it's cheaper over there to make over there. But as a consumer, I'm like, yo, I don't want to pay $1,500 for a washer. You know, so you can't really say we're gonna make America great again. No, because what used to make America great is that we used to produce stuff here. You know, China, after they went through what they went through with their last big war, the country being not a socialist, but what is
Communist.
it? Communist country. They told everybody, nah, I don't care if you're a doctor or a lawyer. You're gonna take your ass to a factory. We're gonna get this country going. We're gonna make shit. That's why China is a superpower, because the government decided to impose on people to hitting the factories.
If we're gonna make stuff here, we have to have workers that are gonna make
That's
these
the
things.
problem.
And we're
It's
gonna have to
never
pay
gonna
them a
be
ton of money.
what it
Yeah.
used to be, because we're too comfortable walking into Walmart and getting a TV for $300.
Yeah.
It's not gonna happen. You can't sit here and say we want to make America great, and you walking out of with a shopping cart out of Walmart with a $300 TV. You can't
That came
do
from
that.
China. Yeah.
Right. You see what I'm saying? You can't have both.
Yeah.
What made America what it was is that we used to make shit. We don't do that anymore. It's China, in the next 20 years, China is gonna be the superpower, bigger than us, because they make stuff. You know what I'm saying? They make stuff.
We should make friends with them.
Look, the biggest example.
We are
the biggest-
consumer-driven country.
The biggest example. Why is it that we're asking other countries for ventilators and masks? Come on, man. That's an embarrassment, man. You know, it's an embarrassment.
Yeah.
It's an
So
embarrassment. That means if the shit goes down, for real, we need other countries to help, because we can't handle it. We don't have the factories to handle it. Bet you China does. You know,
So,
and
you
for
know,
a really good price.
like we got so many topics that we can talk about right now, and it's like honestly we can go on for the next 10 hours and never hit a topic twice, because honestly there's so much going on in the world. There's so much that you need to know about. Like there's topics that we haven't even hit on yet.
Oh yeah, we got a lot
And
to talk about.
honestly, you guys just stay tuned, because we're gonna bring you some stuff that you really need to think about. I feel like it's gonna, you know, at the end of the day, you should be enlightened after you watch this, because we're talking about stuff that needs to be talked about in a way that everybody can understand.
you know,
we're normal people. That's just we're expressing our concerns on every situation that we come across.
Okay, check this out, because you know a lot of people are not the type of people, you know, especially in the urban right now. I don't want to know about politics. Fine, you don't have to know about politics, but I'm gonna give you some knowledge to help you out. If you're in your 30s, you got a family, you don't have a family, look. And this is completely off topic. I'm completely changing topics right now, because I wanted you guys to understand that if you have a job and you have an income, you know, one of the major milestones in life as a human being, man, woman, is to buy a house. Okay. So you know how when you're in high school, your goal was to get your license and to get your first car. You know, if there are so many ways to buy a home, I'm not a real estate agent, but I'm telling you from a person that I did a lot of research to when I went ahead and bought my first house. It was a lot of hard work, but I didn't have anybody to sit there and tell me, hey, this is how you should do it. This is that. I thought it was impossible at first, and then I started doing research. Anyway, it's easy to buy a house. Easy in the sense that if you have all your shit put together, your work history, you have a steady income, and you have all your legit, IRS, returns. It's not that hard to buy a house. It's very possible to do it. So I want to talk more about that later on, and
Yeah,
probably
we
the
will
next
get
one.
into some stuff that as far as when I said we wanted to be where you can have your kids look at this and be like, hey, this is what you need to pay attention to. We will have those conversations because I wish somebody when I was in high school would have told me how credit works, what it can do for you, what it can do to you,
Very
how it can
important.
actually control your life and determine your outcome. Nobody told me that, and these kids, they hit 18, graduate from high school, and they got 10, 15 credit cards being offered to them, but they don't know how to use them.
Exactly.
So we're gonna get into to topics like that. We will hit some points where it's gonna make sense and it's gonna be enlightening and educational because that's what this is all about. Enlightening people. Maybe you'll get something from this that you feel
It's a
like you
little
can.
short. We're not experts. We've lived it.
Yeah,
What
this
I'm
is what
saying.
we live.
We've lived it, and we're trying to save you some time and some headaches. Look, the thing behind credit is, like I said last week, pay your bills. It gets obviously more complicated than that.
But that's the bottom
Okay,
line.
if you are the type of person like I used to be the type of person that if I didn't have it cash, I couldn't afford it. If I didn't have $4,000 cash to buy this car or $6,000 cash to buy this car or 10, I wouldn't buy it. But when you decide that you are on that level that you want to finance something or buy a house or buy a car,
So,
go in.
so on that topic, I just want to put this question out there because I asked this question on Facebook. Nobody actually responded to me, so I'm gonna ask it in this. I want you guys to comment. Whatever social media platform that you use, comment and let me know. So the IRS is potentially using stimulus checks to pay off your past debt. Now, do you feel like that's an overreach by the government? Because honestly, in my opinion, I feel like that's an overreach by the government. This money was set to help you get through this issue because people were losing work and couldn't go to work and couldn't make money. So this money was supposed to help you get through.
I'm gonna take it a little
Day to day.
further. I'm gonna take it a little further than that. Did you know that if you are on child support and you have rears, you didn't get that, right?
Oh yeah, I don't got. I ain't
It
on
go
child
it
support.
goes well, I pay child support. Automatically it was 2 years behind, even though I've never missed a payment or whatever. So yeah, I didn't get my my Trump money.
Get Trump dollars.
No, it went to that, and I pay a whole shitload of child support for one kid.
Yeah.
But
But yeah, that's a question
how
we
do you
want to.
feel about that? If you on child support, you pay your money, and the Internal Revenue Service said, nope, this is going to your baby mama.
Yeah, so
How do you
yeah,
feel
we
about
want to
that?
know how you guys feel about that situation and the situation before. Do you feel like the government is overstepping their authority by using the money that's set aside to help you get through day by day during this pandemic to pay off? And listen to me when I say this, to pay off big businesses, because that's who creditors are. Those creditors are big businesses. So that in turn says to me
Those
that's a part of the big business
yeah.
bailout. So think
Those
about that
those
for a
debts,
second.
those debts are bought like really cheap, penny on the dollar, really cheap. I know a few debt collectors here that the call people, people that call up. Anyway, those debts are bought by these companies, collection
And
companies, really
and
cheap.
that's the bad thing about it is
But is that even happening in Florida? I don't think that's happening in Florida. right?
No, that's happening everywhere.
Really?
That's happening everywhere.
To pay
that
your
does not
debts?
happen. It's
No.
not with the unemployment. This is with the stimulus money.
No,
This
but
is straight stimulus money.
debt's owed to the IRS.
No.
Debt to debt collectors.
To debt collectors.
Nah,
That's
man. I gotta look that up because
that
in
is
Florida,
what, yeah. Look
maybe
that
in
up.
other states there are
'Cause-
states where the laws are kind of
Listen, me and my wife were looking at this the other day, and they're using it to pay debts to debt collectors, big businesses that they
Really?
weren't getting the bailout because everybody went up in arms about it, right?
Huh.
So they found a loophole to use the money that was, allotted to us to pay off these debt collectors. I feel like that's an overreach on their authority because, listen, some people need that money to get by. Like, they've been out of work for 6 to 8 weeks, and you telling them the money that you were going to send them is going to go to the debt collector that's sitting on millions of dollars. Man, get out of here. That's ridiculous.
That's crazy.
How do you feel, Jake?
What? Sorry.
The Bucks who?
No. It's. I just figured we were going to talk about more about this next time. But
We are going to talk about more about this next time.
I zoned out.
You know what? We will. We will save this the next time because, you know what? I just realized we've been, bending the air for about 2.5 hours now, which we could keep going on, but we want to close it out
I
for
need a
this.
cigarette.
We're going to close it out with this segment, and I'm going to give each one of my hosts an opportunity to say something on what you feel like should be, thought about when you go forward this week.
Well, I mean, obviously, a lot of people are still going through and suffering through this coronavirus and the COVID-19. Bars are still not open in Florida. It's unfortunate, but it's reality. I expected this, and it is what it is. I'm not really going to get into more about that because everything's been said already. It's unfortunate, and we're all just kind of trying to make the best out of a
Man, we're just trying to
situation.
survive, basically.
What the future holds,
Nobody
with
knows.
sports, and no one knows. College sports are still up in the air, and fall sports, and I've got a wedding in November that I really, really want to happen, and we've been paying stuff, for this wedding, and hoping that this virus does not come back. And I don't know. It's not to put things on a
You know what? It's
depressing thing,
honestly,
but
it's
just
not putting anything on a depressing thing, but it's something that people need to realize. Like,
right.
This issue is stopping a lot of things from happening for a lot of people. Like, weddings are being held.
Yeah. And people need to stop. I'm not angry at people getting sick, but before things can happen too soon, people need to stop getting sick. Stop looking at the numbers and pointing fingers and blaming. I know a big thing right now, and this is just personally how I feel. A lot of people have been blaming nursing homes in Manatee County in Florida.
We've had a lot of cases in Manatee County.
And
This is the most out of
they're
Florida.
that's
pointing
true.
fingers
It's like
at nursing homes. Whatever the case may be, it doesn't matter. People are getting sick. It doesn't matter.
Oh, yeah,
People are getting the virus. Whether they die from the virus or not, they have it. We need to stop. They need to stop getting it. This virus needs to stop spreading.
Yeah,
and before this virus, it doesn't matter what you think or how you feel about the virus. The governor of Florida, who's kind of a cocky guy.
Yeah, you know what? I think
the
he's baby
president,
Trump because he's doing the same thing that
yeah.
Trump's doing.
And it doesn't matter how you feel about the virus, whether it's BS or not, in your opinion. What matters is what they say.
Yeah.
And if bars are not going to be open, if gyms are just now opening, you can't control that. So we still have to be careful. And I'm not going to I'm sorry, I'm not being aggressive when I say this, but I'm not going to wear a mask in public unless I am asked to wear a mask. And like you just said.
Yeah.
And that has nothing to do with my political views whatsoever. I just wish people were getting better, and it's sad and it sucks. And I love barbecue and I love football. So please talk to me about barbecue and football.
We will be talking about barbecue and football on the next episode, so please stay tuned. DJ Lex, what you got for us?
So just chill until the next episode.
Oh, yeah, stay tuned, man. Well,
Just chill.
All I'm
till the
gonna
next
say
episode.
is I'm gonna leave you with a thought. Tacos de birra. Okay, Google it. Peace and chicken grease.
hold on. Wait, don't kick me out.
Chicken
let
grease.
me say what I
okay,
say what I
The
got.
consomme, chicken grease.
So, man, with all this stuff going on, man, we just got to remember to be good to each other, man. Let's get back to humanity. We forgot where we came from, and we forgot that we used to stand together and we used to hang out together. But now that we've become in such a society that it's okay to separate, we are separating. Let's stop doing that. Let's get back together. Let's throw those gatherings that everybody was okay with rubbing shoulders. My biggest thing is, man, for this week going forward, just be good to each other. Do so, shake a hand, smile at somebody. You don't know what that will do for somebody. They could have been having a terrible day, and you smiled, you said hello, you shook their hand, and that made exactly, man. That made the world that made a world of difference to them. So be good to each other. Make sure you guys like us on Instagram, Facebook, follow us on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, like our channel, subscribe, sign up for the notifications. We are going to be bringing you a lot of good content, a lot of things that you want to know about and need to think about. Watch out for our new website, loudestintheroom.com, because we are pushing out a lot of good things. We will be bringing you like the best content we possibly can, because that's what everybody needs. We want to be that person that you can look to get some questions answered. So from me and the fellas, DJ Lex, my man Jake Stechnich, we are out of here. So you guys have a good night, and we will see you on the next go round. Take us out, DJ Lex.